Hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day to wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. Hope you're all doing very well. Great to have you here. We're going to be taking the Aerosoft CRJ 900. First time we've flown this on the channel. And we're going to take it for a hop from here in Inverness, a very spectacular place. I think we've been to Inverness on the channel before. It's getting hard to remember now that we've reached almost 2 years of doing this. So I do apologise. But yeah, we're going to take it from Inverness down to Amsterdam. Should be a very nice flight. Should be a good bit of fun. And we'll be doing it in the latest version of the CRJ 900, which was, of course, the expansion to the Aerosoft pack. Came out a little while ago. So thank you to the Flying Fabio for rating us yet again. So you've been very kind to do that several times. So welcome to the 241 of you who came from the Flying Fabio. Thank you so much for joining us all here. Great to see you. That does mean I've completely lost track of the chat. To those of you who don't know the channel, this is, of course, a flight simulator streaming channel. I am a real-world Airbus pilot, and we take often the Airbus, but also other airliners on streams. And on my YouTube channel, we have all the tutorials and guides. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoy the stream. Yeah, great to have you here as well. Ibanez Player says, I've watched plenty of your YouTube videos. Great content. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. Chris says, greetings from across the pond in Texas. Excellent. Hope it's going well. And good morning, I guess, to Texas. The first officer has arrived already. Yeah, she's already joined us. The FO, of course, being my cat, to those of you who don't know. She has joined us officially now, so she's sat in her seat. Yeah, great to have you here. Thanks for all those follows to those of you who just popped along for this one. And that, like I say, that does mean I'm going to completely miss the chat. But hello to those of you in the chat. Chickpoint, I can see Richard V. Thanks for coming to moderate along with Victor Tango. Joe Vaughan as well. Thanks for joining us. Well done on making it, not missing this one. Absolutely. Aerofly channel as well. I hope you're doing well. Captain, we've got Klaus. Good to have you here. Igloo Fu, Duncan, Matt, and Sam Powell. Great to have you all here. And Wild Womble, of course. And then over on Twitch, great to have you all here. I'm really struggling to keep up, but yeah, hello to Fly Fabio. Thanks for joining us again. All is going well. Thank you for bringing everyone along. And Ed Haslam, good to see you as well. Lauren V, thanks for coming to moderate as well. Great to have you here. Right, and Santiago Perez, hello to you. And John Padfield, great to see you again. Lots of regulars as well as all of our new friends. And Dazza, thank you so much for your $6.80 tip. Really, very, very kind. Dazza says, hi 320 Sim Pilot, been watching you for a while now and lurking in the background. Your videos have been a great help. Thank you. You are very welcome, Dazza. Thanks so much for the tip, the donation. Really, really appreciate it. And I'm glad that the videos have been helpful for you. Yeah, welcome, and thanks so much for supporting the channel. Very, very kind of you. And yeah, great to have you here today. Right, yeah, Twitch is indeed busy tonight. How are we doing over on Twitch? So that puts it at a busy amount. We've got Addy, we've got Abnormal C, loads of new first-time chatters. So thank you all for joining us, and lots of great stickers, which I don't even know quite how they appear on Twitch. We're not very adept at Twitch, but yeah. Jesus says, good morning, love your vids on YouTube. Thank you so much. You're very welcome for those. So yeah, thanks for coming along to say so. Right, I think we have got there. I think I've roughly caught up with where we are. Lauren V says, I swear you've done about 8 for the CRJ alone from what I gathered in Discord. Oh, no, that's the liveries, is it? Right. Okay, yeah, we got this fantastic livery, which I did grab off the Discord, and I'll provide the link to shortly. I should have put that there already. JJ, thank you so much for the €25 super chat. That's very kind of you indeed. JJ says, thank you so much for sharing your experience as a real Airbus pilot with us. I like the brackets. It gives me so much joy and helped me very much in understanding the sim, and really nice that you fly to my home country tonight. Excellent. So we have another Dutch pilot in our chat. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. It's incredibly generous tip to JJ. So thank you. And it's always I'm always chuffed when I hear that the videos have been useful for you guys, because they you put them up and you never know if people really are going to enjoy them. Sometimes they don't resonate as well as others, but that's great to hear. So thank you so much to JJ. That's very, very generous of you. Really, really appreciate it. And hopefully you'll enjoy the stream today if you're going to stick with us for that one. The Flying Fabio says, how has winter ops gone in the real world with less flights? Do we also have less de-ice trucks? Any lines? I haven't flown in 3 winters, wondering how it's going out there. No, the winter ops side of things, great question, Flying Fabio. So Flying Fabio has obviously been flying in the real world regularly, to be dealing with winter ops. And of course, yeah, is usually a nuisance. De-icing is, I've not seen any problems, put it that way. So yeah, de-icing in the real world, we've been getting it done about as regularly as normal. So I'd say airports haven't cheaped out on the de-icing fluid. More of a problem sort of industry wide is just a lack of staff, people off sick, people who were left the industry during the pandemic, means that getting things like bags on board is just not as simple or as efficient as it once was. But that's a good sign of the recovery of the industry, certainly. York, thanks so much for your €5 super chat. Really appreciate it. York says, looking forward to flying along. I hope you have CRJ model matching installed. I don't have the model matching installed, but thanks so much for the €5 super chat, York. Really, really appreciate it. And great, enjoy flying along. It should be good fun. Flight time today of around about 1 hour and 1 hour and 10 minutes, actually. It's quite a short flight. We have our flight plan already in with the authorities, as it were, on VATSIM. Kerrit, thanks for your follow. Loads of new subscriptions and follows. I do apologise. I'm not going to get around to reading all of those out, but thank you so much to those of you who have followed along. Apparently they had an anti-ice fluid crisis in Seattle, says Lauren V. So there you go. So maybe in America things haven't been so so smooth, but in Europe I haven't noticed any issue with the de-icing side of things. But like I say, other sides, yeah, a little bit more. Hayden J. Robbins, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Mr. Espresso, I hope you're doing well. And Alex Van der Pats, great to have you all here. Grim Reaper says, this is my first time here. I fly private jet for a client here in the US. Love the videos. Thanks so much, Grim Reaper. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today. Good to have you here. And yeah, this is a fantastic livery. This is obviously, those of you who don't know, this is the Jersey European, which became Flybe livery. This was their last livery, pretty much. They did have one more before they sadly ran out of money, but they are restarting soon. I actually like this livery. It is striking, but the magic of this one is wherever you are, you can be on approach. You will, if you're sitting on the ground, you'll know that it's a Flybe airplane. So I do like it. It has this tagline, which, you know, this livery, by the way, was never on a CRJ. This is a fictional livery, but yeah, this tagline, faster than road or rail, was what Flybe used, and it was an interesting choice because, of course, a lot of people say, well, an airplane is faster than road or rail. Now, my understanding is that tagline was used because it was from city centre to city centre faster than road or rail. So they're saying that it'd be quicker than driving, and that includes going to the airport, getting checked in, getting on the airplane and flying there. The idea is it is actually quicker. It's not because, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, of course an airplane is quicker than a train, but but yeah, that's so that phrase had to be explained to a lot of people. I don't know if Gatwick to Newquay is reopening. Danny Rubel, thanks so much for $3 tip. Really appreciate it. Good to see you again. Danny Rubel says, good evening. I'm on the edge to buy the CRJ, so this stream will decide if I'm going to buy it. Yes or no. You feel the pressure already. I do indeed. Well, we'll see. It's I think it's a great add-on. We haven't flown it for a while, so I wanted to use it again. And also, of course, we've got thanks to Aerosoft for sending over the expansion pack, basically the 900 and 1000 versions. So yeah, couldn't resist. We all like the bigger versions of airplanes, the 321. The 777-300. Oh, and there's a 320 just in time. Hopefully they spot us. We're writ spool though, so they might not see us down there, which might make life a little bit difficult. Let's see. Oh, no, there we go. Excellent. That's very kind of them. Paddy, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Yes, this has the purple wings, which was, I'm sure, a serious bit of work by the artist. And I can only apologise. I've got it on the Discord, and I've totally forgotten who made this. So please do feel free to correct me in the chat, because I downloaded it a little while back actually, and that's very embarrassing because I know we have a lot of talented artists in our yeah, Richard Dastardly made this one. Yep, Flybe. Yeah, that's it. Richard Dastardly was working away on several ones, and I know Richard and Paddy have been working hard on lots of liveries, so thank you to Richard for putting this one together for us. And right, good. I knew I did know the name, but yeah, thank you again, Danny, for that tip. Really appreciate it. Right. Mr. Banana says the purple really suits the CRJ in their opinion. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. There we go. Yeah, Richard Dustley's there on Twitch. Excellent. And Lars, thanks for the follow. Captain Mozzo, good to see you. I hope you're doing very well. Right, well, that's got to be enough chatting. We do need to get it turned on. The plane is cold and dark. We've done absolutely nothing to it, so we're going to jump into it. And Flying Fabio says, good job, Richard Dastardly. I think the purple Flybe livery is one of the best I've ever seen in any aircraft. That is quite a statement. So yeah, I'm glad you think so, because I think it's nice. Now, I remember when this was first revealed, and there's almost gasps when it was first shown to people, because it's quite a departure. You don't see many airplanes painted like this these days. Obviously, we're used to sort of that style livery, white, bit of something on the tail, yeah, it's nice to see a whole painted airplane. Right, anyway, enough. I must get on. Short flight today, though, so we do have time to chat and enjoy. So obviously we have the checklist. I've loaded up the airplane. We've got about 60 passengers, 59 passengers now. We're going to take just under 5 tons of fuel, and we've got a little bit of cargo, about 500 kilos of cargo. So that's all looking good. It'll be a flap 20 takeoff because we are taking off from Inverness, not the biggest airport in the world. So yeah, it's a 1800 meter runway, absolutely fine. Taking off in a southwesterly direction, runway 23, typical for the UK. So taxiing up probably down this runway and then a bit of a backtrack. That's the way we're going to do that. Thanks, Mark, for the subscription. So it says we're getting delayed. Indeed, exactly, indeed. Yeah, so that is the routing and the plan. Nothing too exciting, no specific departure. So we will follow, if we get any instructions from air traffic, we'll follow those. Otherwise, we'll take off and join our routing. Nothing too exciting. Good, right, let's get rid of that. And let's check that the airplane, well, let's power up the airplane and then check we have the correct weights in. So it's been a while. You will have to forgive me. I have not flown the CRJ for a bit. So I'm going to put on the DC service and the battery master. I'm not sure if DC service needs to be on or off. I have a horrible feeling it doesn't need to be on, so that's already a confusion at the first switch. But battery master comes on. We get the dings, we get the warnings, and we get the sort of the basics that the airplane can do. Aerofly channel, thanks for the subscription. I'm not sure if your message has popped up or not. It may take a little moment to come through the system. Good. So that is set. And the airplane is powering on. We get our center screens. Not going to use a GPU. We're going to use the APU here. So power it on, which turns on the fuel. We'll get APU. Currently doors closed. It should open up. There you go. Door open. EGT 7 degrees out there. Pretty cold. And I'm just going to press start. There we go. Henry says, is there a VNAV button? I don't believe there is. No, CRJs don't tend to use that. So no, we don't have the VNAV in this version. Is it an option? No VNAV on CRJ 7 and 9. There we go. Thanks very much, Matthias. York says, is the cockpit the same for the CRJ 900 compared to 5 and 7? As far as I can tell, yes. I haven't noticed any different from the original pack. Maybe the 1000 does have something. Yeah, there's VNAV on the 1000. Right, so that's it. Lauren V says, what's the terminology for nose SID departures in the UK? In the US, we just say clear to destination via radar vectors to waypoint, then asphalt. Yeah, so they'd probably say something like, after departure, climb, maintain runway heading. After 2,000 feet, right heading 210, and at 5 miles from the whatever VOR, route direct to a waypoint. So they'd probably give you quite specific instructions as opposed to radar vectors. Maybe it would be climb straight ahead 3,000 feet and after 5 DME, route direct. Something like that. They'll give you something like that. On the EFB, you can activate the VNAV. There we go. So we won't be using VNAV today anyway. We'll be doing it. There is a VNAV option in the settings. Yeah, so I think in the iPad... Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Get copyright strikes. In this thing, this tablet, there is an option. You can turn on some sort of VNAV, but I'm not sure it's realistic. I think it is, yeah, coupled VNAV available, but we're not going to use it if it's not there. I'm going to go without it. Good. Right. Anyway, so we turned on the battery master. Now we have the APU available. I'm just going to check the electrical page and make sure that it is powering. So there we go. The generator's online. 115 volts, 400 hertz. Very common, feeding all the bus bars. So good stuff. Let's now check that the generators are in auto. We've got fire detection motor. Not sure what testing that does, I must be honest. Let's get the nav lights on. And we'll have the logo lights on. That's all we need. Landing lights are all off. And the recognition taxi lights are off as well. ELT is in the arm position, which is absolutely fine. Hydraulic pumps I'm going to put all to auto and on. So the 3A stays on, the rest stay in auto. They're there if we need them. Starter and ignition are all off. APU is running. Bleed valves in auto with the isolation valve closed, which makes sense, and the bleeds on both engines. Fuel pumps I'm going to leave off for now. We don't need those just yet. Moving over. Thank you, Carl, for the $5 tip. Really appreciate it. Carl says, 52-year-old just found the joy of sim flying. Still can't figure out the autopilot on the Airbus. Failfish. So thank you so much, Carl. Really appreciate it. If you just search YouTube 320 Sim Pilot, Airbus Autopilot, there should be several videos, including in the X-Plane, but also in the fly-by-wire A320 NEO that should be able to help you out with that. So, yeah, there is that. Hopefully, that will help you out. But thanks so much. Really appreciate the $5 tip, and I hope you're doing very well, Carl. Thanks for coming along and joining us today. But, yeah, the Airbus Autopilot is something a little bit different, certainly. A little bit more complex. But then once you get used to it, it's a joy. It's so much, so much simpler. The system just works. Right. What else have we got? Just jumping into the chat. Padso says, good evening. Love the thumbnail. Only if it was true. That'd be much better. Yeah, thanks, Padso. My thumbnail artist will be very pleased with that. Right, the VNAV cheat in the model. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the VNAV in the model is not accurate to what we would normally have. Right, good. Mr. Banana says, the thing I enjoy most about the CRJ is to force to use manual thrust. Yeah, so we're going to have to be manual thrust for this one, which is quite novel. So let's turn on the packs. I don't see why not. We'll have the recirc fan on, ram air off, and then we've got this all set as it was really. Wing anti-ice and cowl ice can all be off. Windshield heat can go. I'm going to turn the probe heat on. I don't see why not. Why wouldn't we do that now? Windshield heat is set to high, probably low. Maybe it's on low for now. There we go. And miscellaneous light. So let's turn on the integral lighting. There we go. Always better for you guys if we can do that. Come down here, turn on the integral lighting for the sides. I'm sure I had full SOPs for this at one point, but for some reason I've resorted to what you're seeing. We do have the checklist, which I'm trying to run through a bit of a flow and then do it. So all the integral lighting coming on. Right, that looks a bit better. Hopefully that's a bit more visible for you guys now. Windshield heat says hi. Says shake fine. Indeed, it does. Yeah, right. Okay. The Flying Fabio, thanks for coming along. Thanks for the raid, and we'll see you next time. Really appreciate it, and good to see you. Flying Fabio always supporting us, very kind. Right, we're getting to that master warning. This is a flight warning computer issue. I don't like it, as I've always complained about in airplanes that don't have an inhibitor. The Airbus has an inhibitor, so when you're on the ground, it won't give you nuisance cautions just because you're turning the airplane on and off. So it knows that the doors are going to open, whereas some airplanes like this don't, so they tend to just ding all the time. IRS is hidden down here, so we'll set them to nav. The parking brake is on. And I think that's pretty much that set. So crew oxygen and masks are checked. There we go. Press that and it works. Audio warning panel checked. We've got electrical power is now on. Fire detection we've done. External lights are set. Fuel panel checked. In fact, let's just make sure we have the correct amount of fuel. So, well, we're not going to refuel actually. We can refuel through that panel, which is a nice feature. But if I look on here, we have total fuel 4960, 5 tons, which is what we wanted. We require 4.3, taking a little bit extra just for some margin of error in the way the planning software is done. So good, done the fuel. Bleed air panel is checked. APU is on. Start panel is off. Hydraulic panel is checked, auto and on. ELT is armed. Cabin pressurization is checked. Air conditioning we've checked. Anti-ice is off. Windshield heat. Oh, it says low. There we go. We got it set to low. So I got one right. Emergency lights armed. Ah, yes. Emergency lights need to go down into the arm position. And I'm going to put on the seatbelt signs as we are all set there. Good stuff. Right, standby compass check, nose wheel steering off, very important. Nose wheel steering needs to be off, that's up here. If it's left on, the ground crew don't disconnect it. In the Airbus, the ground crew disconnect the nose wheel steering for us in aircraft like this and the Dash 8 Q400. We have to do it ourselves, and if we don't, as we push back and start engines, they'll pressurize the nose gear and it will twist and break something. Very dangerous, really dangerous in fact, because of course hydraulic systems are very powerful. The tow bar is quite weak. If anything snaps, it could just fly off and hit somebody. So yeah, it's surprisingly important, and I think having a system like this is not as good as being able to disconnect it on the outside for the staff. Joe says, with your love of 80s, 90s aviation, will you be joining the new Piedmont virtual airline like V1? So I've been hearing about it. I don't know much about it, so I need to have a look into it. I probably won't, just because I haven't had as much time to fly for a virtual airline for a while, so I'm not sure about that. But I wouldn't have to look into it because it does sound interesting. I like the idea that of the historical airline. Very cool. Very cool. Right. Dextro says, the Flying Fabio was born in Brazil and began his career in aviation flying bizjets. He later worked at Flight Safety International for 15 years, training crews from over the world. Ah, very interesting. Thanks, Dextro. Thanks for the background. Really appreciate it. Yeah, very interesting. Well, thanks to Flying Fabio for coming along. Yeah, fantastic amount of experience. Mr. Chippy says, I like the website. Just spotted a minor typo in the About Us text. It says, known as. Okay, known as. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chippy. I'll have a look at that. I need to update their website. It is running slightly behind, most certainly. Yeah, I will get that done. That and the playlists, the two things I need to do. Good stuff. Right. Yeah, NW, this is nose wheel steering. That's what it is. Cool. Right, nose wheel steering, clock set, instrument panels checked, upper pedestal checked, thrust lever quadrant. So the other things we need to do down here, we can put the Mac trim, will eventually work. and the yaw dampers we can turn on. Not very intuitive stuff, but we'll get the messages up here if they aren't working properly. Thrust lever quadrant checked, so these should be back at shut off, which they are, so that's good. We've got the flaps at 0 and we've got the speed brakes retracted, and the reversers are off, not armed. Avionics checked. Well, we're going to do all that with the FMS shortly. Set the QNH. Trims are checked, and your damper is engaged. Source panel set to normal. Now, where's the source panel? Is that up here? Oh, I think that's this. This will be the source panel. So we've got them all set to norm, which is good. Mat trim does come on. Maybe it comes on after engine starts. Great. Great. Right, okay. So next will be the before start checklist. Before we do that, let's get stuck into the box, as it were. So we are going to route, first of all, in flight plan from EGPE. Going to EHAM. You've got to remember to execute everything in this box. Little execute lights up here. Not very obvious, but then you've got to hit execute there. We've also got an alternate of, what have we got? EGUN, which is a very unusual one. Not sure why SimBrief gave us that, but there we go. That can go in. Good, and then we can put the actual route in. So we're going by Gussie. So if I just put in that waypoint, is that going to take that? No, maybe we need the runway first. Now, this is the only problem. I'm just going to move the speed brake lever out of the way so I can do that. Right, let's figure this one out. So, we need the originating runway, which is going to be runway 23 for us today. Runway 23, execute, good. And then it's got a via, but I just want to go direct. Can I just put direct in the via? Not in database. So if I just put in... Oh. Yeah, if anyone directs. There we go. Very good. So then we'll go to legs. Runway 23. Discontinuity. Gussie. That's looking pretty good. From Gussie, we're going direct to Nesdy. And then we're taking November 560. Now, is it not going to take that then? Nope, it's not having that. So let's clear that out and execute what we've got. Nesdy, how do we put in the airway? I have done this before, I promise. And I thought this was going to be simple this time round. John says, watching on the OLED tonight, 320 Sim Pilot on a 65-inch screen. Very good. Thanks, John. Glad we're getting the proper proper experience. Right, what am I doing wrong here? Oh, he's in flight plan, not legs. There we go. Thanks very much. So, there, next page. Right, direct Nesdy. Yeah, so, fortunately, the Airbus, I prefer the Airbus system than this one, although a lot of other aircraft, I think, have better airway entry systems. Number 602, Ayrson. Quite a complicated route, really, for such a short flight. Then we're going direct to Tala. Yeah, this is more like it. Excellent. Thank you very much for your help, as ever. From Tala, we're taking Lima 602. Very familiar airway by this point on the channel. To Airkit. Not much longer to go, I promise. It's always tedious watching someone load up an FMS. Then November 110, especially when they don't know what they're doing. To Toliss. Oh, Toliss. Good. Then Lima 603. To Lamso, which will be our arrival into Amsterdam. Great stuff. So departure arrival, we're taking off from 2-3, but there's no actual departures. If we go to the index, I'm expecting at the moment ILS 18 right, the most common runway, via a Lamso to Alpha. Expecting vectors, which is the most common thing in Amsterdam. I'm not sure if they're online yet. We shall find out. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks for all those comments saying to use the flight plan page, Karemo. I really appreciate it. And Ronald, Joe Vaughan. Joe Vaughan is off to drop off to be the taxi service. So, yeah, we'll see you shortly. Yeah, thank you, Richard Dudley, as well. Excellent. So, right. Good stuff. Okay. So that is the flight plan loaded up. Let's take a look at the plan. So there we go, take off from 2-3, and then we're just going to climb and route ourselves to Gussie. We're going to go up to 6,000 feet initially unless we're told anything otherwise. Pretty typical in the UK. And then we'll shortly climb up after that. Pilot, hello to you. EU. Yeah, I've moved the speed brake out the way as it was getting in the way of pressing the clear button, correcting my mistakes. Let's try that Mach trim again. Something does eventually work, and that should just work because we have got a warning up here. Good. Okay, so that is the flight plan. Let's now go to... Actually, we can cheat slightly. If we go to performance, I've already set the payload in the simulator. I'm going to copy the perf data to the FMS. So if I press that... Now, let's have a look. So we've done the flight plan. Perf in it. 22, 113, 59 passengers. Because bow presumably is the basic operating weight. Is that the weight before? So 0 fuel at 27,545, which is what we want. So that's correct. So that's copied in, which is great. Cruising very high. I think we have to do the F in this airplane. I don't know why, but there we go. F390. Execute. Alternate cruise out. Not sure what that would do. Gross weight 32 tons. Slightly heavier than a Dash 8 Q500 then. But that is done. Next page, we've got some winds. Now let me put in an average cruise wind because I do have one. We're expecting an average wind of 317.37. 317.37. There we go. Hopefully that'll help. And VNAV trans out. Well, it'll be something like 6,000 on the way up. Target speed 290.74. Climbing pretty fast. Good. So I think the perf and it's done. Who can think of anything else we might want to do in here? I'm not going to fiddle with the secondary because that's just asking for trouble. We'll clear and we'll go direct to Gussie after takeoff. And legs active is, yeah, the discontinuity. Great. Let's put that heading bug round onto runway 23. Can we just press it? Press to sync. Why won't it press though? It used to press. There we go. Got it. How did I do that? Anyway, we're going to put it slightly to the right. Runway 23 for takeoff. Good. And we can set the speeds individually, which is a relatively tedious process. It would involve us selecting through each of these. But what we are going to do is set the QNH 1024, quite high pressure, which puts us, there we go, just above sea level, which is what we know Inverness is. And then, yeah, you can do target speeds here. So you have to select it. And then scroll, press it again. Although, sorry, press the ref speeds. Then you can scroll, press it and scroll through. So you can do it. But even easier, we're going to go flat 20 takeoff on a dry runway, set all. And there they are. So we're going to rotate at 129 knots, which is also our V1. So we're not performance limited, particularly on takeoff out of here. Good. I'm going to go nav source of FMS 1. And we've got 6,000 feet stop. What we want to display on here, thanks to that's East Midlands Grounds, have sent us a message. They're watching in their downtime. So yeah, thanks for the message. I'm glad you're watching along, and I hope all going well in East Midlands. Very nice airport to fly into, East Midlands. Yeah, very straightforward. I do like it. Great. Okay, right. Right click before left on those knobs, says Old Man Bishop. Ah, okay, interesting. That is confusing, but there we go. Thanks very much. Wasp Middle says, I live in Amsterdam, live near the glide path. Excellent, we might see you there. We're doing flap 20 just for the 1,800 meter runway today. I suspect flap 8 would work, but if there was ever a reason for flap 20, today seems like the sort of day where that would be useful. So we have no controllers elsewhere here, so we are going to do this ourselves. I know there's a headwind on runway 23. Let's finish up the checklist, I think. I can't see what else to do. What we can do actually is aircraft, close up the steps, close up the...
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard. Ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent. Love the PAs. I like it, these little details. So there we go. They're closing up the cargo downstairs. You can just see those doors shut there. The door at the back as well. So there's 2 cargo doors on this one. I think there's only one on the 700s, but there they are. Let's get rid of... Actually, we'll keep the chocks in for startup. Are we going to push back? Is this I suspect this is self-maneuvering. I don't think we're supposed to be facing across the terminal. Inverness, you'd normally point into the terminal. But we are going to... I think we're going to have to push back slightly because I want to taxi out behind us where that 320 is going over there. Or we may have to do a bit of the old nothing to see here. Because even if we push back, we're not really going to help unless we sort of push over here. Well, let's finish setting up and then we'll decide on that one. Right, checklists. Yeah, the Asobo generated apron, exactly. I did look for a free web, and no one's done an Inverness scenery. Guy outside must be thinking, hurry up. Indeed, yeah, we've been here for half an hour now. Right, passenger signs are on. Landing elevation is set. Amsterdam is famously just below sea level. And where would we set that? Oh, I feel like I've done it up here. There we go. Right, so we can set the landing altitude. It should be this one. Landing elevation, there we go. So that's going to be hopefully on the... Oh, not that. Which page would it be on? ECS? Landing elevation. Just 0. Perhaps it's automatic. Well, I'm pretty happy that's going to work just about okay. So yeah, we'll say that's done. Yeah, I wonder why it's blanked out there. Altimeters are set. We've got basically 0 feet, just over, about 30 feet on QNH of 1024. FMS is checked and set. IRSs are aligned and both are in nav. Still doesn't feel like working. Radios and nav are set. So there's basically nothing to set for the takeoff. There is a VOR here, which we can see on the charts of the way in, and obviously high MSA, so we need to get to above 6,000 feet within 25 miles before we're safe, and that's based on the 109.2 INS VOR, which we could tune. Why not? 109.2 it's got. Yeah, so it's already tuned it, so we've got auto tuning. There we go. It's great. The CRJ is nice. It's got some luxury features like that auto tune. I know it does auto identing as well, and of course we're going to have a nav source of FMS1. We could choose the VOR, of course, but absolutely no reason. Good. Takeoff briefing complete. So clear to start. We're going to get all devices off. APU is on. Electrics are checked. Takeoff data is set. Doors are closed. Right, here we go then. Let's get started up. So beacon going on. We've got the chocks in still. Let's call a tug and see if we can get them to just connect. And we'll just tell everyone what we're doing. We're on stand. I think it's stand 14. Inverness traffic, Jersey 300, stand 14. We'll be pushing back onto the main apron. No animated target seems. Pete S, thanks so much for the 6.80 tip. I'm really sorry. I'm just going to rerun that one. I did miss that. No, thanks for the follow. Pete S, thanks for the 6.80. Pete says, as I can't subscribe in Twitch, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. That's very kind of you. And yeah, thanks so much for supporting the channel. No, we're not... yeah, we're not affiliate or whatever it is in Twitch just yet. So thanks so much. Really, really appreciate it. Right, beacon's running. Tug's not appearing.
Traffic, TV 194, pushing back, and 23.
I think I'm gonna just forget that. Let's just start up here, and then we'll get rid of the chocks. Okay, doors closed, beacon on. We've done all of that. Fuel pumps and quantity. So fuel pumps come on now.
Traffic, Easy 15 Delta, taking off runway 23.
Fuel pumps are on. Hydraulic pumps auto and on they are. Parking brake is on. And let's start up the engines. So hopefully easy to start. We're going to press start on the left. We get that message. We're going to see the N2 increase. Yeah, this is indeed a fictional livery. Flybe did not have the CRJ 900 in this livery, but they did have the CRJ 200 in their early days as Jersey European. Lads would like to see this in their fleet. Yeah, indeed. The only problem is the Q500 is just so efficient. Right, let's get that up to idle. There we go. N2 increasing, N1 increasing, fuel flow 200 kilos per hour. Excellent. Pressure increasing. Stat page to see landing elevation. Aha. There it is, 40. So thank you very much. Minus 20. Go for minus 10. Or 0, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Smurfy, for the follow. Right, good start on engine 2. Time for engine 1. Start it up. Very straightforward to start this airplane. I do like it. Sean says a 146 in Jersey European livery would be lovely. Yeah, we flew. Did we fly the Jersey European? We've flown the 146 in X-Plane. I am really excited to see that 146 come to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm a big fan of the 146. It's great fun to fly on the channel. So yeah, I'd love to see that in a flyby livery. There you go, 20%. Click. Oh, there we go. Fuel flow. Ooh, that might not work. It looks like it's shut down. That's because I moved it too much. Let's put it back to off. We'll restart that engine. So start. You do have very strict limits on starter motors on basically all aeroplanes. So you usually have to give them some rest period, maybe 30 seconds between start attempts. And if you do more than sometimes, say, 2 or 3 start attempts in a row, then you might find you have to wait for 30 minutes or more. Yeah, they're quite strict because obviously a lot of pressure. 15. Carbon fuel, you can do it. 200, there we go. Increasing N2, increasing N1, hopefully, finally. Everyone's upset about my stab trim. Actually, let's get rid of those spoilers. Yeah, stab trim, great points. Where do they put the indicator? It's over here, isn't it? It's at 7.5. It's in the green band. But we need it set to takeoff trim 6.7. But I must have missed a switch. So I've got that warning. Anyway, 2 good engine starts. The starter light's out. That's good. Let's get rid of the APU. Don't need that anymore. Let's do the after start checklist. So generators auto. They were indeed in auto. Otherwise it would have gone into pitch black by now. Electronics are checked. Bleed valves auto. They are indeed in... Bleed valves are in auto. Packs on. They are APU off. Anti-ice off. Nose steering armed. We're going to need that. Let's get rid of the chocks now outside. Goodbye. Because you do that once the engines are started and the airplane's holding on the brakes. Right. So that's why... Okay, I get it now. There we go. So the stab trim needed to turn on so that the mat trim would turn on. How embarrassing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. JB says the A320 is so luxurious compared to this. Engine starts at the flick of a switch. Yeah, so the A320 is, I mean, I say it all the time, but it's just lovely. And it's such a nice place to work because it just does so many things for you automatically. Yeah. There's not much else to say really. Just love it. So anyway, this is great fun though. I do enjoy doing this. Let's put the taxi light on. Inverness traffic Jersey 300 taxiing runway 23. Right, it's all clear around ish. Let's see what we can do. Brakes released. Bit of a spool up. I don't think my parking brake isn't working on my hardware. No, I've had this before. So can we get that nose around in time? Oh, pretty good. Always, you know, I've flown airliners for several years now, but I'm consistently impressed at the maneuverability on the ground of some of them. There we go. We're going to follow the easy. Not sure which one that is. We haven't got any sort of liveries. This guy will get a bit of jet blast, but I think they'll be all right. Hoping it's this one here, moving in front of us. In fact, that's across the apron, so we're going to go out here. There we go. So Nikki asks, are you going to fly the Hot Start CL650 in one of your next streams? Now, I've been hearing rave reviews of the Hot Start CL650. I do not have it at this point in time. If it's of interest enough, then I can certainly add it to the list and we can fly it on the channel. I just I don't have it at the moment, so I've got to fly the 747-200 first and obviously the Concorde. Right, let's see how we're going to do this. Nothing to see here. There we go. This is all fine. Excellent. Got away with that one. Right, let's do a bit of a flight control check. And we're going to set those flaps. So we're going with flaps 20 for takeoff, which is there.
Lufthansa 1001 is following the EasyJet traffic.
And we've got the, that's what we need. We're going to arm the reversers at some point during the taxi. We're going to run the flight controls. Now, there must be a flight control page down here. There is indeed. Nikki says, it won't go away. Take your time. Even better having a stream after the stream storm calm down a bit. Yeah, of course. Whenever there's a new airplane, you'll get bombarded with videos. And that's yeah, well, we know why that is, but yeah, it's just the way things are. But I'll definitely. There's a lot of vehicles here. If people are interested, I'll be taking a look, and especially as we know, I like obviously flying aircraft. Look over here now. I like flying aircraft that we've already flown on the channel and just seeing different versions and variations. It's always nice. Don't forget the hold. Richard Darsley would like to see a hold. Indeed, I will. I'll see if we can get one done on the way in. Let's do some flight control checks then. So I've got that screen. Thanks for the follow. So there's full left with our little roll spoilers, full right, full down, full up, and I can do the rudder. I don't think there's a. There must be a disconnect, but maybe not. Anyway, full right and full left all works. Great. Trims are otherwise set to neutral aside from the stab trim, which I finally turned on. So we are going to head out to the runway, shortly do our backtrack, and we're going to arm the thrust reversers. That's just utterly bizarre. Why you have to arm them, I don't know, but there we go. Reversers are armed. It could be to do with some sort of inhibiting system missing. No disconnect in the CRJ system attached. Okay, thanks. Microsoft Flight Simulator loves to put parades of city buses on taxiways. Indeed, and Inverness is not the largest airport in the world, so I would be surprised to see so much ground traffic there. Right. Good stuff. Now, I'm trying to remember the modes for takeoff. Do we have the flight directors on takeoff? Flight directors, roll and pitch. Because we are at some point going to engage speed and toga. I'll see what modes will work. We'll try that. Anyway, let's go back to our checklists. Taxi, we've done. Slats, flaps. We've got flaps 20. And 20 over there. We've got flight controls checked. Trims are green and set at 6.7 and checked. Thrust reversers are armed. Flight instruments checked. Brake temperatures checked. So we are all good. Brakes are nice and cold. That's already shown down there. So in a second, I'll announce that we're backtracking to take off. That's the one we want. Inverness traffic, Jersey 300. Backtracking and lining up runway 23. Right. Clear on approach, clear on the right. We haven't had any traffic. Let's get the landing lights on, make ourselves as bright as possible, and get those strobe lights on. And we're going to go left. Always embarrassing if you try and backtrack the wrong way. No, we're not using up our runway there. Just sort of strolling along. Fresh toga on the TCA. That's a good point. Yeah, thrust we're going to set to toga. Yeah, 2 clicks forward. And where is it? That's the toga button, isn't it? Okay, we'll give it a go. And then speed once we go into climb.
Easy 194, holding short runway 23.
Maybe I do have that assigned. The text line suggests you should go left, indeed. See you in Amsterdam. Excellent. Thanks, David. We'll speak to you soon. Yeah, this is a more appropriate runway indeed. And what am I doing? I haven't set up the They do include some lovely wing views. That one, I like that one. There's a little tiny little roll spoilers. Good. Right, enough messing around. Matthias says it's usually pretty quick. Gear up, speed, then heading on nav. So we're just going to go into heading straight ahead, and then that will take us, as you can see, straight down to the point we're going to Gussie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has advised that we are now cleared for takeoff.
How did it do that? Oh, I'm impressed. Right, lights and strobes are all on. Fuel crossflow is manual. This is to do with... Manual, there we go. That's to do with making sure you don't get an overflow. Oh, we were going pretty fast there. Flight attendant advised, transponder TCAS, radar terrain. CAS. Right. Now, can somebody remind me how to set the transponder on? On the dash, it's obviously a hold and press. Why is that not working on this one? Can anybody help me? While that goes in the chat, I'm going to actually spin around like I should have done. Quite hard to get the camera sorted for this. The knob on the right side of the display. Side backup. Okay. Is this going to work out? Yeah, this should work out nicely. Because we are so far ahead of the centre of the aeroplane and the centre of those nose gear. Everyone's waiting for us. Inverness traffic, Jersey 300 taking off runway 23 departing southwest. Above Mac trim, right. I must have known that at some point. There it is. Brilliant. Thanks very much. Right. Well, we're ready to go. We're all set for trim. Let's go for takeoff. So, I hope you're all ready. We're going to Amsterdam. Spooling up. No, the toga button didn't work, so we're going to press it on here. Takeoff, takeoff. There we go. That little FMA of toga, which is not accurate to the airplane, but nice to have, included by Aerosoft, so that you get an idea of where you've set your thrust levers if you don't have detents. There's 100 knots. V1 rotates. Up we go. Positive climb. Gear up. Let's get up to those pitch bars. Not quite in trim for the takeoff, but not bad. Not bad. And we can go straight into speed mode.
Inverness traffic is 194.
Alt S as arms.
Runway 23.
There's 1,000 feet. I'm going to engage the autopilot. Let's see if I can increase that speed, which will be here. Let's get the nose down. We can start to bring the flaps up. Start with 210. And we're going to route direct to... It's not taking it. Don't know why. Let's delete that. Execute. And I'm going to go into nav. Let it turn around, follow that route. Right, bring the flaps to 1. There we go. Right, we're above VT. Flaps to 0. Speed up to 250. This is a jet, not a turboprop. I must remember that. So we've got the gear up. We've got the flaps up. I think we're doing well. Absolutely lovely graphics as ever. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world to fly. If any of you get the chance to visit Scotland, I can highly recommend it. Pazzo says, as you're an A320 pilot, is it okay to start your engines in the ramp before pushback has even started? We had a 320 captain flying the charter flight want to start his engines on the ramp before pushback. Well, that would be down to the airport. It's totally acceptable as long as you've spoken to the ground crew and coordinated it properly. Here's our level off at 6,000, out less capture. Yeah, it's unusual because it's a waste of fuel if you just start up the engines and then sit there. As soon as you go into outstart, remember the airplane will not be pitching for speed, so we've now got to take control of the thrust. But we're going up to 390. Let's put it in the window. right up to the maximum. So 39,000. There we go. Let's go for speed. Alt S is armed. 250 knots again. And we'll go for climb thrust. That's something I hadn't done earlier. And away we go. Right, let's set standard, which we've done over here. Push for standard. There we go. 1013. Let's go do it on the other side as well. 1013 and standard over here. 1013. Great. Right. Can't hear sound from the aircraft. Apologies. Let me turn that up for you. Hopefully that works better. Sorry about that. I had to turn it down a little while back, and I obviously not mixed it right since then. Yeah, you can step through the flight plan in the CRJ. I'm pretty sure we've done that. What we're going to do then is the after takeoff checklist, or the climb checklist. Fuel cross flow can go to auto. Bleeds and APU are set, or as they were. Thrust reversers off. And CAS checks. CAS is going to be this display here, I think. Oh, we haven't put the flight number in. Oh, why didn't we do that? Must be in the flight plan page. There it is. Oh, is it too late? We missed our chance. That's a shame. Yeah, if I'd remembered, we could have had it in there, and then it would appear up there, which is really handy. You'd be surprised how easy it is to miss that or forget that, especially on the Airbus where it doesn't write it. It writes it on the flight plan page, so you tend to forget it after landing because then it disappears. Anyway, let's accelerate now to our, not course path, speed. Now this is the problem of having all of these look exactly the same. It's not the most ergonomic design, but there we go. 290. I think the passengers can walk around now. Nose has come down, but it's auto. And away we go. You can fly the A320 without auto thrust indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Philip, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Evening, Freddie S. I hope you're doing very well. Jack Power, thanks for the subscription. How is the audio now? Can people hear anything now? Does the autopilot have a sync or a CWS mode just winging it? Ah. Well, we'd be able to see it here. Yeah, it looks like it's got a sync. Yep. Keep that out of the way. So, cycling through the flight plan, very possible. If I can remember how to do it. It's in the legs page. Then we need to change the format of this. So it's strange because we can control so much of this display using the FMS. So here we can change what we're looking at. So we can have the window up at the top. We can have I do like the PAs, I really do. Right, NDBs, ETA. Oh, there you go. How long it take us to get to each point? That's pretty cool. Almost tempted to leave that one there. But I think the format range, there it is, and then we can scroll through. There you go. So you got to change the format and then scroll through on the legs page, and you can see our routing all the way through to Sugol, and from Sugol radar vectors most likely to the ILS-18 right, but we'll get an H as it sounds like we have a controller over there. Now, does the terrain work on this yet? Has anyone used the terrain? No, doesn't look like it does. I will zoom out of it though. Getting a bit of turbulence here, passing 19,000s. Yeah, if you are watching and have enjoyed it so far, please do hit the like button on YouTube. It makes a big difference to the channel. Really appreciate it. Neither terrain nor weather work. Okay, thanks. Rich Sanger says, what's the sync or CWS mode? So what that is let's say you're flying in vertical speed, and then the airplane's... I depends on the airplane. I haven't used it for a while because, of course, the Airbus does not have anything like it. Let's say we wanted to climb a vertical speed, so I engage VS. We're doing 3,100 feet per minute, VS 3.1. If we then press the sync button or control wheel steering, we'll take over from the autopilot, effectively disabling it whilst we hold in the button. So we hold in the button, and then what I can do is lower the nose until I see a vertical speed I like let's say 2,000 feet per minute. And then if I let go, it will go. The autopilot will turn straight back on, re-engage instantly at the new vertical speed commanded. So it's a quicker way of adjusting things. Rarely used in most aircraft. There may be airplanes like the 146 where it was quite common to fly like that, because in the 146 to change vertical speed, that's the only way you could do it. But I believe it was anyway, but in more modern aircraft with the modes available on a FCU style panel or MCP panel like this, you're more likely to use this panel, in my experience, on the ones I have flown. But maybe CRJ pilots will tell me something different. Maybe they do use it all the time. But yeah, that's what that's for. Right, let's go back to speed. And we'll put it back to 290. Yeah, so it's like a way to interact with the autopilot slightly more intuitively. Thanks so much, 11 Clark M, for the £4.49 super chat. Really appreciate it, 11 Clark M. Very kind. 11 Clark says, I'm in the easy behind you. Your videos are just fantastic. Thanks as always for the content. Oh, that's my phone. 11 Clark M says, I'm in the easy behind you. Your videos are just fantastic. Thanks as always for the content and giving us notice of your flight so we can fly along. You're very welcome, 11 Clark M. Thanks so much for flying along. I do enjoy having traffic around with us. So yeah, great to have you here. And thanks so much for a very kind donation and for supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate it. That's a very distorted image, isn't it? There you go. Yeah, really, really very kind. Thanks so much. Let's get rid of those landing lights whilst I'm there. And the taxi lights. Good. Good. Yeah, really appreciate it. And we've got quite a few new videos on the channel. We've looked at the TCAS, the nose wheel steering. The Aerosoft Twin Otters had its first preview on the channel. Would you guys like to see a stream in the Twin Otter? Is that something you're interested in? Yeah, you're welcome, Victor Tango. Dylan says, how does a Bombardier feel compared to the Airbus? Well, it's a much more traditional aeroplane, so quite sensitive in pitch, I find, but yeah, it's quite sporty, quite nippy. It's a light aircraft that flies pretty fast, so it's quite responsive. Nice things about it are, even though it's a manual sort of aeroplane, so there's no auto trim, because the engines are in line with very close to the central gravity. Central gravity probably somewhere here, I would imagine, or somewhere maybe forward of the wings, but the engines aren't far from it, whereas often they're down here. The magic is when you change thrust in the CRJ, you don't have to change trim too much. You only have to say change trim for the airspeed changes, not the pitch power couple as it's called, which is nice. Oh, we are getting some real turbulence. Ed would live stream in the Twin Otter, of course. I would have known Ed's answer. Checkpoint says, if not too many people want to watch the Twin Otter, you can try the shortest flight in the UK. Indeed, we could, yeah. Ronald says, in NL there is a discussion going on why planes don't use electric tugs for the taxi. They just started a project. Do you know anything about it? So, for that, it makes a lot of sense, especially at busier airports, to have a tug take you out to the runway, start up engines when you're out there. It's, however, hugely logistically difficult, because then you're going to have tugs out at an area where airplanes have engines running and taking off. The only things you normally find out at the holding points of runways are other jets with their engines, so you have a bit more room to use your engines, obviously, to spool up, get on the runway, and so on. If you had, like, tug crew will not want to be out there and exposed to the jet blast and moving aircraft under their own power. It would not be safe for them. So you're going to have a tug that is robotic or automated or driven from somewhere else, so you're instantly into a whole other level of certification and safety. Because using the tugs we have these days would involve a crew driving you around. Now, they could drive you out to the runway if they sat in the cab of their tug, but most tugs that have drivers are not electric. Most. There are some. The electric sort of pushback tugs are those tiny little things that just take the nose wheel off the ground, and they don't have anyone sitting in them. So you couldn't have one of those out of the runway because, of course, someone would have to have driven it there, and they'll be standing next to it anyway.
Glasgow traffic.
The other problem is warming up. You need time to start the engines, but then that takes maybe 3 minutes in total on the Airbus, maybe a little bit longer. Then you've got to set all the flaps and so on. Then you've got to have at least 3 minutes to run the engines on a NEO, 5 minutes on a cold CEO, the older style engines, so up to 5 minutes of waiting around. So it gets really tricky to judge the benefits. But I'm sure there are benefits. I'm sure overall it would save fuel, and it would just be a case of how can it be done practically. But I wouldn't be surprised if one day we find that that's quite normal. They'll invent a way around it that does work, and they'll just, tow you out. Because why? Why should we be driving around on the engines on the ground if we don't need to? Dylan says, I'm a TBM pilot and they're very sensitive airplanes. TBMs are, of course, turboprop airplanes, so they will feel more sensitive to a jet. I don't know. There you go. Jonathan, good to see you. Jonathan says, I know it's weird to say that, but I kind of like the fact that there's no auto thrust in the CRJs. You need to constantly be aware of your speed. Indeed, yeah. Yeah, it's quite nice. Old Man Bishop says, don't forget to switch to Mac. It's not automatic. Yeah, we're doing Mac 0.8, which is too fast. So, there we go. Oh, no. No, it did swap. Highest Mac. Oh, so it did swap. Yeah, okay. But we don't want to be at Mac 8. So thanks for reminding me. 7.7 seems reasonable enough. Being pretty lazy with getting to that speed though. Climb 0.77. Yeah. Amazing performance though. We're having absolutely no trouble climbing, especially as we got a tailwind. 80 knot tailwind at this point. Fluff says, I'd be quite interested in the Twin Otter. I still want to head over to Vancouver at some point to see the Harbour Air Fleet. Yeah, that would be good fun. Maybe even the electric conversions. Amazing stuff. Padstow says, yes, the Twin Otter would be good. There's an airline in Cornwall. There's a 10-minute hop from Lands into Yellow City. Okay, so we have to figure out where we want to put it, but Twin Otter seems popular. Yeah, we didn't time on this one. No worries, one of them. You're very welcome. Matthias says, can tugs actually push a plane as fast as it can travel by its engines? No, tugs don't go at 30 knots really. Even when they're towing aeroplanes around, they don't. No, unlikely. Because, you know, the airplane brakes are only running the accumulator and so on. You don't want to get up that much energy in it. It's just not sensible. I don't know what their maximum speed would be, but I'm going to guess somewhere between 5 and 10. 10 knots would feel fast on a tug, I reckon. I have not tried the Kodiak 100, another plane just like the Hot Start that I'm hearing rave reviews of. Padstow, see you soon. Right, so what do you think? George's FS videos, good to see you. George says, what do you think about all the airlines choosing 320-21 NEO over Boeings? Happy? Well, it's obviously in my benefit to have more people flying Airbuses because that's what I'm qualified on, and therefore my inherent value to the industry remains higher. So yes, it is good news when your airplane becomes more popular and there are more of them around, because it just means that if something like a pandemic happens, there's more chance of your job still being needed. Infinite 224, good to see you. Infinite 224 working hard on their ATPL exams, which are massive amounts of ground theory and testing that you have to do to become an airline pilot. Infinite 224 says, hello, have an update on my ATPL progress. Just finished a 2-day exam sitting. Did 4 exams at the CAA building. The exams were quite different to the question banks, but I think I passed. Excellent. Good luck, Infinite. Good to see you here. And yeah, enjoy an evening off, because it's a lot of work. A lot of work. Ed and Karima both recommend the Kodiaks, so There we go. That's a popular one. Captain Paul, good to see you. Infinite 224. Not too pleased about the wording of the questions. Well, it's always been pretty interesting indeed. Yeah. AC445 says, I'd like to say no airline in Canada chose NEO only Max. Oh, did they really? Well, it's good to have the variety out there. I don't think Canada would accept me to fly in any way. I wouldn't get a visa, so probably true of the US as well, though. John Padfield says the flight factor 320 is growing on me. Changed my mind. Oof. Yeah, if you post that on the Discord, you'll soon get some answers, I'm sure. GD says, can you see yourself upgrading to fly the 330 or 380? Would be nice. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Never say never. Thanks, Louis, for your subscription. Typing Squirrel says, how do you get a pilot voice like you have? That is just part of the assessment for the job. They'll make sure you've already practiced it. Crashhead says, the Kodiak is no twin otter though. Yeah, Ed worked on twin otters, I believe. So, yeah, very passionate fan. I think a stream in the twin otter is certainly doable. Possibly, I haven't decided yet if I'd just do it on Twitch as a sort of group flight. We'll see. Maybe that'll be better after release, so you can all join in with it. AC455 says tons of Dash 8 flying if you want to get back. Yeah, they seem to still be in favour, the Dash 8s, which is very good. Anders says, is it worth to try to be a commercial pilot in these COVID times? Well, if you're in America, it seems like things are changing rapidly. In Europe, less so. There's Altest capture, so we're going to set the power. What speed are we planning on? That's going to be in Perth. Nope. How do we see the speeds? Not sure. Can't remember what we were planning on. I suppose I should take it from my actual flight plan rather than what the aeroplane tells me. We were planning on a cruise of... seven. So look at that, worked out. It's gone to half bank. Now we're up nice and high. Still got that roaring tailwind, 50 knots. Excellent news. Let's zoom out a bit. Not a long flight, so we mustn't spend too long messing around. But there we go. Bit of a wing view. Dylan says, I'm glad I found your community though. Excellent, Dylan. Thanks for joining us. Matthias would like to see a Dash 8 or ATR 72 come out soon. Yeah, let's get a Dash 8 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Definitely. Absolutely love having the Flight Sim Q4 XP. Is just a stunning piece of work. Really nice. IFR says, are you going to stream the Challenger 650 as a new level? Yeah, again, I'm hearing so many good things. I've not tried it yet. As you might have noticed, it's been a little bit busy. I've been working, which has just been great, and then also we've managed to get the videos out that we've got. I've still got a big backlog of videos and airplanes I need to learn, but yeah, if people want to see the CRJ, we could do that. But I know it's been streamed a lot, obviously, the last few days, so hopefully you have the info you need if you're thinking about it. It's already released, is it? I believe it is. I think it was released on the 7th, wasn't it? You've got a tailwind. That never happens to me, says John. Indeed, that almost never happens on the channel as well. Second page of VNAV to find out the speeds the box is working on. Let's do that. So, VNAV. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Their climb. Page 2 is the cruise. So this is planning on 7.4. Now that's what I do in the Airbus. Yeah, it works. Look at that. Just to adjust the timings, and that should update this to work better. And also on the VNAV, for the descent, there's a way, something we need to set up. VPA 3 degrees. Ah, so I think we're going to get it. I think we'll get a top of descent marker. said that very confidently. Can't see it in plan mode. Unlikely to need it. Oh no, we don't need it at all. But is that the page I want? Yeah, there we go. Right. Anyway, let's enjoy some scenery. Yeah, top of descent marker, Jonathan Gazazzi says. Thank you. Yeah, I think there is one there. Stig says, there are blue arrows in the M1 display to set appropriate thrust for cruise by speed knob, if I'm not wrong. Really? So if I change the speed... doesn't seem to be doing much. I think those blue arrows are showing me the maximum N1 for cruise thrust. That's climb thrust. So yeah, so when I'm in the cruise range, they show me 89.8. And if I go to climb, they'll give us 92.9. Yeah, that's what I would guess those are. So let's go back to 77. But that would be a nice idea if they did that. I suppose if they had if the computer was smart enough to be able to do that, they'd probably just have an auto thrust system, which would be nice. They get them in line, no? There we go. Somewhere in the 80%. We typically cruise at about takeoff thrust. It's quite bizarre how aircraft work, but yeah, the engines are designed to be spinning fast. That's where they're set. Checkpoint says, I am surprised it's not so choppy outside the plane. Did you change some stream settings? No, I really haven't changed anything. This is the frustration of streaming, I suppose. It's that some days it works and some days it just doesn't. Right, while we're here. Goodbye, Inverness. Thank you very much. Yep. Goodbye. And Amsterdam. Please open charts. Right. Amsterdam has so many runways and yet has some of the best charting out there. It is excellent. I think we've only been here once before. Now that does not impress me. All those all those briefing pages, ridiculous. So you got to sit and read 14 pages of tiny text. Yeah. Ugh. And then we got the parking. Wonder where they'll park us. Where would Flybe have parked at Amsterdam? I think it's somewhere over here. Somewhere down here. Sort of the regional area. Looks very nose high from the outside, but I suppose it's just such a long aeroplane. Still sitting a little bit fast. I will bring that thrust back a tiny fraction. Flybe did have the CRJ at one point, but not the 900. It had the shorter 200s. I think it was Jersey European. I'm not sure they were ever painted as Flybe. They certainly weren't painted in purple. Didn't we depart one day as a backup from Amsterdam when the flight's in progress? Wow, that's very good memory. Yes, I think that was in the 737-200. We did a second takeoff from Amsterdam. I'm pretty sure. Captain X says Flybe was usually D gates. C, D. Ah, D. Okay, somewhere up here then. We'll find a spot along here. G8 pin is for EasyJet, says checkpoint. Excellent. Yeah, Delta Pier for the Q500, says Captain X. Thanks very much. Ah, yes, of course. Maybe we're not getting top of descent because of the fact we have a discontinuity. I'll leave the discontinuity in, though, just because, of course, we are... I'm trying to scroll through like an Airbus here. Doing it totally wrong. We're going to leave... Oh, hold on. No, that's not right. Pick up the Lamso. Oh, something has gone wrong. as ever, you guys spot it first. Right, let's have a look. Legs. Our routing said Toliss, Lima 603 to Lamso, which we've got. And that is this arrival here. Lamso, Airbus. Okay. Is that any better? Pick it, Lamso 141. It's got 2 Lamsos in it. I'm going to get rid of that first one. Right. We go Dibel, Bucket, Lamso. Next page. Airbus, Sugol, Vectors, RS18 right. Well done. Well spotted. Yeah, so if we have 2 waypoints in there, it can be a bit of a nuisance. Now, Richard would like us to test out holding, because he's been having difficulty getting it to hold. Now, you can hold in the cruise. So let's see if we can get a hold. So we'll just do it en route somewhere so we don't interfere with Amsterdam's traffic flow. We can do it at Urquhart. Now there's a special hold page. We're going to choose Urquhart, and it's got a right hand hold there, but let's change the inbounds. See if we can do a join. Is that going to work? 087 right hand turns. So that would be a direct join where it just goes straight into the hold. Could try left hand turns, and then it would have to do a really difficult offset join. Or we could do 270 with right hand turns. Oh, not 9. Oh, that is so... Yeah, we need to figure out a way to sort out this speed brake. Oh dear, just have to use it. What am I doing wrong here? There we go, right. Yeah, so that'll be a parallel join, I think. So let's execute that and let's see if that works. 1.5 minute legs, because we are above flight level 140 in Europe. That's pretty normal. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how it does it. We shall find out. Copy the second lamp. I should have just copied the Lamso over. Yeah, Ashley, thanks, Ashley and Mateus. That would have been a much simpler way than what I did. So we should have a top of descent marker. Oh no, we won't, because we've got the discontinuity after Sugol, but that's fine, that's normal. Dylan says, I've got to make the flight plan for tomorrow's flight. We'll be back. We'll see you soon, Dylan. Thanks for joining us. Dugan Matavish, thanks for coming and moderating over on Twitch. Good to see you. Hope you're doing very well. Yeah, I'm not the only one who's finding this. The speed brake's always in the way of clear. Karema has a good idea. Uses the FO FMS. Yeah. Is that a pre-saved? No, doesn't look like it is. I suppose you could just do it like this, couldn't you? Yeah. Just type it in. They're not hugely effective speed brakes, so my cheating one does work. Great. So yeah, so for this join, this would be a challenging join. I mean, if you think we're going over the ground at no holds, I mean, this is a little bit unfair of a test because no airliner would enter a hold at 240 indicated Mach decimal 77. But there's no reason it shouldn't be able to fly it. It's just a timing thing as opposed to a speed issue. So it would be a massive great hold. But it's, in theory, 1.5 minute legs. We're just doing it very fast. The reason they standardise holds, often charts would expect your hold to be flown slower. So if we look here, this hold here is got an altitude restriction. They haven't bothered with the speed restriction, but the standard, I believe the standard is 220. It's like a typical maximum speed. just so that you're not spread out too far, because the faster you are, of course, the wider your turns, and then you'll fly for 1 minute or 1.5 minutes if you're high enough. So 1.5 minutes if you're going faster, 1.5 minutes at slow speed might be here, at fast speed you could be over here. So that's why they have these restrictions. Anyway, we've looked through the flight plan and we've got that star. These are the Sugal and then expecting vectors. Then we're going to have an approach onto RS 18 right. Let's just check if there's any information from that sim yet. They have an ATIS. Let me write some of that down. Yeah, main landing 18 right. That's all we needed to know. They've got information. Delta, landing 18 right. 10 kilometers in light drizzle. Oof, pretty bad weather. Few 11, 1,100, I suppose that is. Yep, few 1,100, broken 1,300, overcast 2,000. So very cloudy day in Amsterdam. QNH is 1033, high pressure. Yeah, it's very strange. We're in the UK with high pressure at the moment, but also miserable weather. Right, it's entering the hold. It's doing an early attempt at that. I would have expected it to get to Urquhart or closer to it first. So what I would say is it should have flown here, then turned here, then gone around, then back, and then joined the hold. That's what I would have wanted to see it do. But this is a pretty brutal test, but the Airbus would manage, I'm sure. Yeah, it's going to be a long taxi indeed. Amsterdam famous for its long taxis. 18 right out here. We've got to drive all the way down. So we're going to come off probably Victor 1 down here, all the way around the south, or across the runway up here, Whiskey 5, then around these taxiways. Quite a long way. Quite straightforward, but quite a long way. In terms of the ILS, just so we've talked about it, it's pretty straightforward, but it does have a very low platform altitude, 2,000 feet, so we have to be careful not to get caught out being fast and unconfigured, because we'll start down the ILS and we won't have time to slow down. We need to have the speed back and under control, because this is only 6.2 miles from the runway when we start down on the ILS, so that's something to be aware of. We've also got normal 3-degree ILS, 187 minima, quite normal, slightly below sea level, nothing too exciting there. And if we go around, speed limit of 220, but we can do that clean, and we have to level off at 2,000 feet, so quite a low level off altitude. MSA is very low, 2,300 feet, worst case, thanks to that. Okay, now it's going right. Looks like the temperature is fixed in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We've got minus 56 up here, pretty normal. I do not know where it's going now. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think the holding is working quite so well. Richard says, you seem to have a right-hand hold in there. Yeah. So it should have held the Urquhart in the right-hand hold. Nothing wrong with that. It should have worked. We'll have to try it out in a few different things. But it hasn't successfully done that. And you can see the course bar here. It wants Urquhart. It wants to fly there. Let's exit the hold. Two-way point now, Useka. So it should take us back onto that line. So I'm going to leave it to do that. We'll try again. Maybe we'll try and hold at Sugo just once. Just see if it does that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Cameron says, how do you engage managed heading mode? So you need to push in the heading knob on the Airbus. If you've got it set to the newer style of control interaction, that can be difficult, so I suggest the Legacy. I think it's called Legacy. People in the chat will know more than me. Yeah, John says, would VATSIM controllers have got annoyed by the wandering hold entry yet? Depends on the controller, but something to remember about holds is they are set as they are for standardization. They're also set like that for terrain in some cases, but it's not uncommon to ask for a change in the hold direction, maybe if you think there's weather on one side, things like that. So it's not going to be a disaster for air traffic. There's not going to be aircraft next to you if you did a bit of a funny entry into the hold. because holding is designed just to keep you in one place. Oh, there you go. It's sequenced nicely, so now it's going to the next point. Do a nice left turn. That's good. I like that. Nice and smooth. Yeah, so they probably would have started questioning what you're doing, or mainly they'll be checking you're actually going to enter the hold, because what that would have looked like is that we were just going to wander off over here. So, yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there. But holds, mainly they'll be separating you vertically. Yeah, as J-Bay says, plane was on a mission of its own. Top of dent showing now, says well. Now there we go. Yep, TOD. Goofy says, how many times have you flown to Amsterdam in real life? I really couldn't tell you that. I can tell you if I've flown into somewhere once or never, but if I've been there more than that, then I won't. Well, I couldn't give you a number, I'm afraid. But I have flown into Amsterdam at various points in my career. John says, if VATSIM do question you, the stock answer of FS 2020 usually works. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Half bank can't be helping, says Old Man Bishop. Now that's a good point. Yeah, maybe the bank limiter. So we'll try again. We'll do it in a more normal circumstance. We'll be slower without the tailwind and we'll let it join. It's just interesting as well that it drew the hold as a normal hold. Of course, that's a nice idea, but that's not what's going to happen when you have a strong wind. We'll have to fly a slightly different shape. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have not enjoyed a Stroop waffle, says Chick Point. No, I've not. No. Chips. A cone of chips with mayonnaise, which seems quite popular in Amsterdam. Other question says, Goofy, have you ever been in Amsterdam? Yes, I have, yes. Yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. Anders says, do you have any tips on how to remember all the ATC instructions? I'm new on VATSIM and it feels difficult. My tip is write it out as they say it. So have a format that works for you. So when I'm writing out stuff from air traffic control, especially clearances like the departure clearance, I'll write down SQ and then the squawk number. If it's a heading, I'll sometimes circle it. If it's an altitude, I might put a line underneath it. That way I don't misinterpret 180 as a heading or a flight level or a squawk. Or a Q and H, I'll write Q and then whatever it is. So that is my method. So just writing it out. And if it takes me 1 second longer to answer because I had to write it out, then that's just tough. Air traffic will just have to wait. In aircraft, it's very common. Pilots will, as it's being said, so let's say a controller saying, right heading 250, descend flight level 370. So right heading 250, descend flight level 370. You might do something like that in the scratch pad, and then you've got it written out. Downside of this, obviously, which one is a heading and which is a, well, actually, it's obvious with 370, but, you know, and which is a speed. They might have also said 180 knots. So if you do that, you know, that may not be so useful, but everyone has their own little methods. I tend to write in the scratch pad these days, but when I'm on VATSIM, I will write it out in front of me on my notepad because I just can't do it otherwise. But when I'm at work, yeah, scratch pad works pretty well. Air traffic don't usually give you too many at once. And for the departure clearance, like I say, I'll write SQ for the squawk and write the squawk out, Q, and then the Q and H written out. Yeah. Brandon says, is there any risk of getting a TCAS alert while descending in a hold? Yes, if you descend in a hold too quickly, you could very easily get a TCAS alert, even if you level off at the right point. Yeah, absolutely. Very easy. So doing 1,000 feet per minute is pretty normal in the hold. Doing more than that in the descent is not ideal. Why is it? So is this the right technique? I'm pressing the right mouse click and then the left mouse click and it works. Very strange. I did not know that was the thing. Is the YouTube icon a 340? This is an old problem we've had. No, it's not. So it's not showing up as a 340 on mine. I know it is on the Discord. It's an old problem that YouTube fixed where it would show up the previous live stream's information. Unfortunately, it's come back, and when we go onto Discord, we're getting, yeah, I know on Discord it sent a picture of a 340 through, even though I had uploaded the new thumbnail, so I don't know why. Very strange. But thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I'll have to keep working. It's fine for AC445. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just the Discord one got corrupted or a bit like that. Maxim says, a suggestion for a future stream, if folks are interested, would be to try to fly somewhere in eastern Russia. Whereas in QFE and meters, not something you see in Europe. No, QFE and meters is hard work. You do have Airbuses that can just set meters, though. Marcel Dupree, good to see you. Marcel says, it's so good to see TKS in the fly-by-wire at last. Thank you for your great video. I'm glad you liked the video, Marcel. Glad you enjoyed that one. And yeah, that's great news, isn't it, that they added that. Right, we've briefed our plan. So we're going to use the Sugal hold. Aside from that, fuel-wise, how are we doing on fuel after our sort of wandering? Got 3.3 tons left, so we've burnt 1.6-ish. Not bad, not bad. What if we have a fuel specific page? Do we? Fuel, does it show us fuel used? Yeah, 1640, there we go. That's quite a complicated fuel page, actually. Let's get rid of that before I get confused. Right. Doors. Sorry, CAS. What does CAS mean? It's something... It brings up a menu. Let me get rid of the fuel. I think it's used to shrink these messages up here. That's what it was for, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah, so yeah, going on to meters and flying in Russia could be an interesting one. Could be an interesting one indeed. So right mouse button gives you secondary mouse controls. Thanks, Nano N Guy. Mark says, is the Ockham beacon a VOR and is it also a hold point for Heathrow? Used to walk down the old Wise Airfield runway to it. Let's have a look. Thanks for the subscription, Tobias. Ockham. There it is. Yep, VOR. 1153. Hold for Heathrow by the looks of it. Although this is... Strangely, this takes you to hold over at Biggin. Whereas the Hazel arrival takes you to hold at Ockham. There you go. So yeah, it is a hold. Great, get rid of that. Mark says, used to watch them circling from my garden in Byfleet. Used to see them go off and come back at low altitude. Yeah, that's it. Quite common. The holds will be near the airfield, but then you'll have to do some sort of vectoring after that. Pastor says, is there going to be a return flight? No, we'll just be doing the one sector today. Just the one sector. I used to do multi-sectors, but I found didn't seem to work, didn't seem to flow well with the sort of streaming format whenever I tried it anyway. It could be something I was doing. We do it for the group flights though, lots of sectors. Just ends up with some big patches where I have to sort of enter the new flight plan into VATSIM and so on. But that's just an excuse for being lazy. It also, it's, you know, you just end up, everyone just sees the same thing again straight away. But, again, I'm open to it if people like it. Richard Darsley says, VORs are rapidly disappearing in the UK, I noticed. Yeah, the UK is still relatively well equipped for VORs compared to some other places. But yeah, they'll probably be faded out. Adam says, how's Concorde learning? Very slow indeed. I do apologise for that one. Hayden says the front end screen on the promo post was definitely not a CRJ. Bugs have a habit of coming back. Yeah, so that's it. It's the promo post was the problem in Discord. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that. I tried reloading it and everything, couldn't get it to go away. Annoying because it was such a problem for so long, and then it disappeared one day, and I was so happy. Nana would like some more group flights. Okay, excellent. Peter Green says, did my flight training at Big Inn. Missed it. Not much GA there anymore. Indeed. Yeah. Not much general aviation at Biggin Hill. No. Right, we're past the top of descent now. So what else do we need to set up? Do we need to do anything with the VNAV page? I don't think so. There's the descent. It's all set. 3 degrees. 74290, all pretty reasonable. There's a required FPA. Let's start down. (10,000 feet). Vertical speed. Down we go. Starting with 2,000 feet. Engines back to idle. And I think if we go to MFD and we turn the window onto VNAV, there is a way to see the FPA or the vertical speed required. Direct int. There we go. That's the one. Thank you very much. Well, there you go. We're already high on that. Thank you very much, though. Is there a way to sort of put markers down? So EHAM. Oh, there you go. EHAM is 92 miles away. If I go to flight plan. Next. No, it's not on there. Legs. You can add them up. But yeah, we have a total of 90 miles from 36,000 feet. So we are a little bit high, which is good. That's about as expected. With a bit of radar vectoring, that should be absolutely fine. Lost a bit of speed though, so we can go down a little bit faster. Let's try 2.4. Thanks, Gladys, for the subscription. Snowflake on the PFD. Oh, there we go. So that reckons we're slightly low then. Because the direct page says to Anito, which is our 2 waypoint. To be there at flight level 203, we need to do 4,600 feet per minute, which we're not going to do. So I'm surprised to see that thinks we're slightly low. Interesting. Doesn't seem to match up the two things, so I'm not sure what this is based on. Right, anyway, let's do our descent. So, landing elevation set at 0. Fuel we've checked. TCAS is set. Radar is set. CAS checked. Landing data is set. Approach briefing. Ah, so landing data, of course. No, we can't see it. But anyway, we're going to do a flat full landing, as I believe it normally is in the CRJ. And I'm going to say set all and set. So we want 134. There it is. 134 is set as the target speed. Maybe we'll do that later, actually. Because I think, if I remember rightly from the Dash 8 days, we would normally keep the speed bug. I don't know, the Dash 8 didn't have a speed bug unless you were in speed mode specifically. So it's unusual to me that the CRJ has one here because I can set it to whatever I fancy. It doesn't do anything. Just something to aim at, I suppose. So we're going pretty slow here. Let's put it back to 7.7. We can do a bit more VS. So we want to arrive at Sugal at 100. That's what the box is expecting. So actually we start to get that level off marker. as we're flying in a vertical speed, it's pretty accurate because our speed will stay the same. So I can just wind it to the VS that's going to get us to Sugol at 100. Enjoy dinner, Victor Tango. Thanks for coming along. See you next time. Yeah, that is the magic of vertical speed descents. As long as you keep the thrust at idle, the only downside is, of course, now our speed will vary up and down, so air traffic control may not like it. So they don't tend to be the most efficient descents, obviously, because idle thrust is the most efficient we can be. So open descent in the Airbus is obviously the ideal way. You don't normally descend at thrust idle, says Nano, and go, interesting, okay. Well, let's do a bit of VS and thrust then. But yeah, it's nicer when you can get away with idle, but we're just a bit too slow here. Good. We're on Unicom, we'll know when to contact approach because they will contact us. They'll send us a message in the vPilot or XPilot app that will warn us. So I'm going to prepare for that by grabbing the ATIS. There are a lot of controllers online today. You can just double click on the ATIS to get it written out for you. Still on Delta. QNH1233. Good. So anything else we can set up in advance? We've done the speeds. We need to put the minima in. So it's pretty low. 187 for Cat 1 minima. Let's give it a go. MDA. One 87. We'll round that to 190, 10 feet below sea level, which is what Amsterdam is. Good. We've already agreed we're doing a flat 45, which will be a flat full landing. There's no auto brakes. Its reversers will be armed on final. Spoilers are in auto. Good stuff. And there's our message from Amsterdam, 12575. Oh, that is frustrating. Right, and I haven't used the call sign barely at all, so I must get it right. Jersey 300. Amsterdam, good evening. Jersey 300, descending flight level 100 towards Bucket. We are a CRJ 900 with information Delta QNH 1033.
Jersey 300, hello, Squawk 2765.
Squawk 2765, Jersey 300. Good luck to me. Yes, good. Okay, 2 7 6 5.
Jersey 300, identified, Geert Lamso to Alpha arrival, runway 18 right, descent for level 180.
Descend level 180, Lamso to Alpha arrival for 18 right, Jersey 300, thank you.
Jersey 300, correct, proceed direct Sugol.
Direct Sugol, Jersey 300. So there you go, lots of information there. I've written out the most important one for me. The most immediate concern is that we get the right level. I don't need to turn straight away, but I need to level off at the right level, which could be quite close. So there we go, 18,000 is in on standard. We've been cleared direct to Sugol. Then Vectors executes. There it is. Now to Sugol. We've got the Lamso to Alpha, which has already gone out the window. So there we go. That's all there is to do. We may not get away with the holding now. I think with air traffic control, I won't hassle them.
Amsterdam radar, good evening, Eurowings to Lima Golf, passing flight level 106, climbing flight level 130.
Eurowings to Lima Golf, hello, climb for level 250.
Climb flight level 250, Eurowings to Lima Golf.
Nano says, yep, speed as desired, just maintain it with the thrust. Yeah, so that's fine. But yeah, interesting way to fly. I think we're out of the Mach range now, 20,000 feet, so let's transfer that to IS. Because as you can see, that Mach, to maintain 7.7, you need 355 knots, pretty fast.
Amsterdam, hello, easy 194.
Right, we're levelling off shortly, we're 1,000 feet to go. Let's just wind that VS back.
Easy 194, hello, Geert Lamso to Alpha arrival, runway 18 right, Squawk 2776.
Well, actually, I'm going to leave the thrust pretty low. just so we can wash off some speed, because we're going to get high. Oliver says, what time are the streams? Yeah, they're pretty random. Usually they're about this time of day, but I should try and mix them up when I can. I do appreciate I do them always at the same time, which is not ideal for some people. I do notify them usually on YouTube in the community page. So subscribe on YouTube and you should see those and turn on notifications for the channel. You'll also get it recommended to you. You'll also get it recommended to you by YouTube most likely if you've subscribed and turned on notifications. Also, if you join the Discord, I always post in the Discord before I stream. There will not be another stream later today, and there probably will not be a stream tomorrow.
Please go 1 Golf, no further HQ available. Mont Unicom, 1 2.8, bye-bye.
1 2.8, thank you very much, bye-bye.
Lauren V says, according to the meme, direct Sugol is the most common phrase of that's in the Netherlands. Yeah, I can believe that. Out as capture. Just feed on a bit of power, but I'm going to let it slow down slightly. Thanks, Karen, for the subscription.
Jersey 300, descent level 70, after Sugol, direct Sierra Papa Yankee.
Descent level 70, after Sugol, direct to the Sierra Papa Yankee, Jersey 300.
Hello,
Right.
Amsterdam radar, this is KLM 1243, at flight level 1204, flight level 130.
Oh. There it is.
Hello, climb level 230.
And vertical speeds.
Flight level 230, KLM 1243.
There we go. After Sugol, Sierra Papa Yankee.
Amsterdam radar, Lufthansa 1001 is at flight
Which is
level
there, 97 miles.
330.
Well, that's 52 miles away. Right, that's the correct one. So we'll select that.
230 inbound.
And there it is.
Amsterdam Schiphol
Execute.
Lufthansa 1001, hello, Squawk 2762.
Squawk
Going out to
2760,
70.
Lufthansa
Okay, so that's all in place. Now, so Lauren V is asking why are we not flying the transition? Because, of course, there is the Sugol, and then if I go to my approach, RS18 right, from Sugol, it just points an arrow at the Sierra Papa Lima. So Amsterdam will often just leave you on this heading towards the Sierra Papa Lima, or they'll say after Sugol, route to the Sierra Papa Lima, and then at some point they'll vector you downwind and in. So in this case, we are, because you can see officially the procedure would be Sugol, Sierra Papa Lima, into the hold, and then outbound from the hold and fly this arrival. But that's just incredibly inefficient, so we're not going to do that. Yeah, so this time we're going to the Sierra Papa Yankee. Unusual, but there we go, over there. So this time we're going to meet off on our heading, and that's basically a transition round.
Start climb at flight level 210, MS27.
Ashley says delete the vectors line, otherwise it won't carry on. Ah, okay. Thank you. We'll do that. Yep, that makes sense actually. Keep it neat. There we go. Thank you.
Bremen radar 123.925.
ETA to landing, not long away from landing.
Eurowings to Lima Golf. Thanks for your service. Have a nice
Looks like we have a
evening.
North American CRJ flashing
Good
point.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Where do we write that in here?
KLM 1243 requesting leave cockpit for 2 minutes, please.
KLM 1243, Mont Unicom, 12.8, bye-bye.
Transition level, there we go. It's very low. I do have the ATIS, so I know what the level is.
Long pressure van Bremen radar 123.925, bye-bye.
6.45 nautical miles from Hotel Alpha Mike Zulu.
Can 7 on Quebec, contact Bremen radar 123.925.
123.925,
There we
KLM
go.
7 Quebec, bye-bye.
That should stop it flashing.
6902,
Nice, it does flash. That's better than the Dash 8, which didn't bother.
Level 70, altitude to Sierra Papa Yankee, transaction 6902.
Easy 194, descent
Right,
level
anything else we can
70.
do in this checklist? Landing data set, approach brief, we've done. Next will be before that.
300, contact Schiphol approach, 121.2.
121.2, Jersey 300, bye. Oh,
Easy 194,
stunning view.
360.
Amazing.
360, CG 194.
Approach back on.
KLM 1243 requesting leave cockpit for 2 minutes, please.
1212. Amsterdam, good evening. Jersey 300, descending flight level 70 to Sierra Papa Yankee.
Jersey 300, hello, information Delta, vector ILS 1 at right, descent flight level 40.
Descent flight level 40, we have Delta, Jersey 300, thank you. Right.
Traffic 6888 identified, climb flight level 130.
This is the hardest part in this airplane. I'm trying to change the altitude up here, and it's written down there. Anyway, there's 40 on standards.
Takeoff runway 24 speed with 140.
EC621, descend 2000 feet, QNH 1033.
2000 feet, QNH 1033, EC621.
Right, 1700 feet per minute puts us down at 40 just before we reach the ILS. Not quite good enough. I'm going to get down a bit.
300, reduce speed to 50 knots.
250 knots, Jersey 300. Okay, 250 knots, we can do that. I'm just going to set the bug to remind me, really. I can't see much else used to it. So idle thrust, probably need a bit of speed brake for that as well, because I need to get down.
Kilometer 02, contact Amsterdam, 125.750, bye-bye.
Wind back that VS a bit.
Switch to Amsterdam.
10,000 feet, let's get those seatbelt signs on before I forget. Get the landing lights on. Might need some anti-ice as we go into these clouds as well.
Contact Amsterdam, 125.
Get a good tailwind here.
Bye-bye.
Right, excuse for the landing. CRJ, very hard to land for me. You have to flare a bit later to avoid floating, but judging that,
07, departure instructions.
It's quite a mission. Oh, I certainly find it. Oh, I like this now. They've resolved the bugs with the ILS, so it automatically in FMS can bring up the localizer, which is just great. And we should see the rest of it appear soon, I believe. Let's check it is tuned, 1101.
Jenna 07, correct.
1101, course 182, which it has done. So look at that, it does it all itself. This is a much fancier airplane than the Dash 8, no doubt. I have not used the Google Maps replacement mod. I think the Bing maps look absolutely brilliant, but...
Schiphol approach, coming over in 10 November, Sierra 7, ready for departure.
Stand by, Speedbird 1408, identified, climb flight level 130.
130, Speedbird 148.
Scandinavian 10 November, behind the departing Beechcraft, line up and wait 24, Sierra 7 behind.
Behind the departing
no auto throttle indeed, but we just managed, M Aviator, just fly it. Remember, you spend a lot of the cruise with it set in a very narrow range. The airplane doesn't change speed very quickly in the cruise, so it's not quite as bad as it sounds, but this is where it's more difficult because I've been told to maintain 250 and I'm not doing it very well, so...
Transavia 6888, contact Amsterdam, 125.
There we go, we've got the glide slope starting to show up now.
Amsterdam 1575, Transavia 6888, fijne avond. EC621, reduce minimum clean or less.
I will call EC621.
Where's that gone?
And EC621, turn right 150, cleared ILS 18 right approach.
Oh, it's up here. I'm looking on the wrong screen.
Right,
So,
total
temperature 8 degrees, yeah, icing conditions. Put the engines on. Just zoom in. Yeah, Taryn Kim is looking amazing. Thanks for the subscription to Paolo. In we go. Amazing. It's just so close. You can't believe it to what it's like. Morning, Cade. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Scandinavian 10 November, departure instructions, ready to copy.
Lisa says Google Maps is needed if you're flying over China or Southeast Asia.
November,
Default Google Maps is
turn
all
right
over there. That makes
280,
sense.
climb flight level 60.
After departure, right heading 280, climb level 60, Scandinavian 10 November.
Scandinavian 10
Oh,
November,
there's a sea.
correct.
Not too thick of a layer. So the weather's nicer than that 80s would suggest. Here's our level off coming up. Are we ready to add power? Ah, TCAS is working.
07 identified, climb flight level 130.
Climb flight level 130, Jenna 07.
Power test capture. Feeding on
Jersey
power.
300, descend 2000 feet, QNH 1033.
Send 2,000 feet QNH 1033, Jersey 300. Excellent, so they're 2,500 feet below us, which does give us a clue that we're a little bit high, because they're not that far ahead of us.
435, line up and wait to runway 24, Sierra 7 behind the departing Scandinavian.
2,000 feet,
Expect 2
back
minutes
into vertical
wake separation.
We're behind Scandinavian
Which loaded up the wrong way around, there we go.
Copy way separation, speed 435.
I'm going to start bringing the speed back. You'd normally do as you're told, but if you think you're just going to be too fast, then sometimes we'll just start and then announce it.
Right.
But the controller will assume we're going to slow down at some point.
Wind 190 degrees, 6 knots.
Right, let's zoom in again.
Right, E61.
10 miles
Jersey
out.
300, no speed restrictions.
Thank you, Jersey 300. Even better if they can say
Speed
that.
1408, contact Amsterdam, 125.750.
They're 1800 feet beneath us, but they're climbing apparently. Anyway, we are going to go back to performance and set 134 and set all the other speeds. Right, good stuff. 3000. We are comfortable now on altitude, but we are a bit fast, so let's start slowing down and getting the flap out. First stage of flap, speed limit is 230. So we can go to the first stage, I believe. Let's see how he vectors us.
Jersey 300,
Barrow, thank you.
heading 160, cleared ILS 18 right.
Right, heading 160, cleared ILS 18 right. Jersey 300. Thank you very much. QNH 1033. We're actually much higher than we thought.
Triple approach is 194.
Right, heading mode.
Level 10, descending 70 direct.
Great spot. Thank you very much. That's why this
Stand by shortly, Scandinavian
always
10
two pilots.
November,
I love it.
identified, climb flight level 130.
Heading, and we're clear for the ILS, so I'm going to arm the approach.
EC 194 information is Delta,
Winding
vector
back
ILS
that
18
now.
right, descend flight level 40.
Expect the vectors to 18 right and we'll descend to flight level 40, easy 194.
So I'm hoping this will change from SPY.
Scandinavian
and we'll get
10 November,
DME on
resume
the
all
ILS.
navigation direct to Andik.
First stage of flap out. There it comes.
Speed with 435,
Good to see you, Ed. Yep, you made it indeed.
The wind while -0 degrees, 6 knots.
There's a localizer, so it's going into lock mode. Struggled with that. Wind from the right blown us through. We haven't come in too fast, but obviously a bit faster than it liked. Next stage of flap out. Go flaps 8. 180 knots. Right. Yeah, why aren't we getting the DME? How am I going to convince it to do that? I don't know. Gonna have to sequence perhaps?
And Jersey 300, you are number 2. You are following a medium Airbus on short final. Continue approach.
Continue approach, thank you, Jersey 300.
Approach here, good Amsterdam,
Right, don't want to go any slower then. Following a medium Airbus, 170 knots. Flaps 8 seems reasonable. The pitch actually seems normal. So I don't think this is too slow. Hit the DME 8 on the radio panel to get the DME.
125.750.
So that's the DME hold button. Ah, there you go.
6902,
Brings it up.
hello,
Well done.
information Delta, vectors ILS 18
Brilliant help
descend
as
flight
ever,
level
thank you guys.
50.
Okay, there's the glide slope. Glide slope's now green. Back to idle 180 knots. So the real pilots who fly the CRJ will get very good at, you know, they'll know exactly how much thrust change that would have been at an intercept at flap 8 from the vertical speed. That it just becomes second nature when you do this all day, every day. There was a way in the Dash 8, if you set the power right at the start of the ILS, you could fly the whole ILS without having to change it, and just putting the flap and the gear out would eventually stabilise it to the point where it would be at approach speed. It's brilliant. It was great fun. Right, we need to slow down, so let's go gear down. Busy talking.
Amsterdam approach,
Next stage of flap.
01.
We're going to go with 500 feet as our stable criteria for this one. Because we've done exactly what I said we shouldn't do.
Hello, information Delta, vector
Arm the
silence 18
reverses.
right, descend flight level 40.
Last checklists before landing. Flight attendant advised, special signs on, thrust reverse armed, gear down.
Level 40, Lufthansa 1001.
Flaps going to full.
Jersey 300, 18 right, clear to land, the wind while -0 degrees, 6 knots.
Good land, 18 right, Jersey 300. Oh, it might just make it. 1,000. There we go, 1,000. We are back at our approach speed. We've got full flap out. 50% N1.
EC61 figure, one is right.
Seems reasonable. 139. As I
Contact ground.
said, right, here we go then.
Yeah.
We've already had our excuses.
Not
Can't see the runway at all,
is,
which is a bit more compared. That's a bit more what I expected from that Aegis.
194 descend 2000
We're
feet,
clear to land though.
QNH
Some rain on the windscreen.
20,000
Getting a little bit slow here. Right, the trick is not to flare too early and completely mess it up. But that is a horrible picture out the window. Wow. 500. Trying to stabilise the thrust. Seems to need about 60%. I suppose they are quite big flaps. What I haven't done is started the replay software, so I'm sorry, we're going to have to go without that one today. Not quite in line, is it? Anyway, autopilot off.
Speed with 435, Climb flight level 130.
Thrust is pretty stable
Flight
there.
level 130, 435.
I can't believe I've forgotten the replay. I do apologise. Yeah, very twitchy on the pitch.
Scandinavian 10 November,
There we
contact
go.
Amsterdam radar 125.750, bye-bye.
Let's see what we can manage here.
5750 can be 10 November.
Yeah, it's very responsive as well to the thrust changes. Helped probably by having so much drag flap.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Amsterdam
Come on.
approach, MS237.
There we go.
Passing flight level 904.
And reverses are out. We've got reverse green. Get the nose down. There we go.
237, hello, information Delta.
And it's all manual
Vector
brakes. So we're going to actually,
descend to
we're
flight
still
level
doing
40.
90 knots. Let's see if we can make this exit without too much stress. Idle reverse. There we go.
Emirates 237,
We're going to come off left
reduce
here.
speed 250 knots.
There we go. We got away with that one. Felt pretty fast. So perhaps,
250 knots,
perhaps we could have taken a bit of
Transavia 6902, descend 3000 feet, QNH
bit of the
1033.
speed back on that one, but there we go.
3000.
So that worked all right. 62 was it? There we go. Not too shabby. Well, in the rain, that would have felt quite nice.
Lufthansa 1001, maintain speed 250.
Wet runways do make landing smooth out.
Maintain speed.
Excellent. Well, there we go. We've made it onto
101.
Amsterdam. So welcome. And now we're going to have the fun of taxiing around. So instead of the replay, you're going to get to see me drive around on the ground. But we're clear of the runway. Now, I have a funny feeling it's automatic changeover to the ground frequency here. But are they active? Is ground active? Yeah, it is. There's EHAM North, EHAM Delivery, EHAM ATIS.
EC 194, turn right heading 150, cleared ILS
1218.
185.
Let's go to the grounds.
150 and we're cleared.
Amsterdam ground, Jersey 300 vacated.
Jersey 300 Amsterdam ground, welcome to Amsterdam. Huge fan, taxi gate Delta 28 via Quebec at Whiskey 5, cross runway 18 center.
Thank you very much, that's very kind. And we'll taxi to Delta 28 via Quebec, Whiskey 5, cleared to cross 18 center, Jersey 300. Thanks again. Oh, that's very nice. So, right, we are... that instruction has cleared us. This is one of the most genius things about this place. That one instruction has cleared us to do about 20 minutes worth of taxiing. Now, it won't take us that long today because we do go a little bit faster in Flight Simulator than probably in real life. But anyway, we're going to come off here and we're going to follow this system. So we're going to take Victor Sierra and then out that way. Victor is the alternative way. Now, I say that, you watch me mess it up. We're going to take Victor and then he said Whiskey 5. So we're going to cross at Whiskey 5. We're cleared across 18 center already. It's not a news. Then we get over here. We're going to follow Delta South, not Charlie, it's North. Delta South, and then we will probably get another instruction, either Bravo out or I think it'll be Bravo. Alternatively, we could go down here to Quebec, but I'm suspecting not.
KLM 376, gate
Right.
Delta
Flaps coming up.
We have arrived, shutting down. Bedankt, fijne avond verder.
Should probably turn some lights off.
KLM 376, thanks for flying in and tot de volgende keer. Fijne avond.
Off. Get the strobes off. We'll leave the taxi lights on. Thanks for coming, Mark. So this is... Oh, yeah, and Quebec. You're absolutely right. Via Quebec. So that is down here. So they've told us then. So we're taking Delta South. Then we'll join Quebec. Then we're going to come up from the south side. Which means from Quebec, we're going to join Bravo, the outer taxiway. Bravo up. And then Delta 28 is up here on the end of this pier. That is a long old taxi. So we won't start the APU yet, we don't need it. Not sure if they would fly the CRJ. Can you taxi the CRJ on one engine? Probably can.
Ready for push and
Is there an after landing checklist? After landing. APU on or off. Transponder standby. Let's put that to standby.
Pushback and startup approved, KLM 805, thank you.
Slap 0, lights and probes. Oh, it wants the probe heat off. Let's not go off the taxiway while we do that. Maybe I'll do that on the next section. Just get delivery. Oh, well, I hope you enjoyed the flight, everyone. And again, apologies for the lack of a replay. Totally slipped my mind just trying to get my head back into the CRJ. But I think we did all right. We just missed the stabilization because I was too busy chatting. But I'd say that would have counted as stable even at the 1,000-foot criteria. Regional airlines sometimes have 500-foot criteria. It does depend, which is a bit of a lousy excuse on my part. Oof, bit of a bump here. I don't think I have
Speedbird
checkpoint
185,
scenery
contact
installed.
Amsterdam
That would explain
approach
that
on
one.
121.2. Have a nice flight.
121.2. Have a good evening, Speedbird 185.
There we go. Thanks, Roy. Checked out the VOD. It says Taxi Quebec. Now, this is not correct. The taxiways don't go up and down quite like this. Thanks for the follow. So we are now zooming along. We are along Victor here, and we're going to soon go to Whiskey 5 and cross. We're already cleared to cross the next runway. Joe03 says, welcome, Chipple. Yep. Thanks, Marcel. Glad you enjoyed it. See you next time. Yeah, exactly. Zabus pointing out as well, the half bank may have restricted its ability to hold. That's interesting. Yeah. Karemo says, landed 18 right. See you at the gate next week. Indeed. We're not using live time. No, I don't stream at night because in winter, I just adjust the time because otherwise we'll just be looking at nighttime all the time on my streams. Yeah. Okay, looking for Whiskey 5. So from those of you who've seen the taxi tutorial, there's the sign, Whiskey 5 there. We are currently on Victor, the black backed sign. If we take the first left, that will take us back up the other side. So we are going to... Oh, we can hear the... you might be able to hear the FO complaining. I need to disarm the reversers because, yeah, they're still armed. They're still working. Right, Whiskey 5 here. We are cleared across. I am taxiing a little bit fast for what's realistic. Let's get rid of those reversers. I suppose they could be useful during the taxi. I will put the strobe lights on, just so we are lit up across the runway. Anders, thanks so much for your 5-year super chat. Really appreciate it. It's very kind. And keep it up, pair. Thank you very much, Anders. Very kind. Thanks for supporting the channel. And yeah, really appreciate it. Right, crossing the runway. Clear and clear. Always worth checking again, and then checking again.
Your assigned gate for me?
Assigned gate.
So Whiskey 5, we're going to go right on Delta. So we're looking for Delta, which is the first right after that sign.
Copy, thank you.
Which looks like it's not painted very well, but that'll be, we'll pick it up here.
KLM 508, hold position behind the company Boeing 737
there we go.
on your left.
Holding position, KLM 508.
Yeah, I reckon. I can't see why you wouldn't be able to single engine taxi, because if you shut down one of the engines and then the hydraulic systems have got their own, they've each got an electric pump backup. So I'd be surprised if you couldn't.
KLM 805,
Very
taxi
good.
holding
Seems like a very good hydraulic system on this airplane. Quite robust to have two pumps. I mean, the Airbus only has the engine driven pump and then the PTU from the other system. And then the blue system has the RAT and the electric pump. But here we've got engine-driven pumps for the two of the systems, then backup pumps for two of the systems. I suppose there's no PTU. There we
Company Boeing 737.
Yes, I do have the premium Schiphol version.
Schiphol ground, easy 194
I
with
think
you
so.
on
Anyway, I did pay for premium
Easy
flight simulator when it came out. Anyway, remember the probes? Thanks, Gordon. Yeah. Just looking out for Quebec. Let's check we don't miss it.
I apologize.
I think it's further south. We're up at Bravo, yeah. So we're not taking Bravo, we're taking Quebec. Let's go and turn the probes off.
Easy 194, affirm.
Engine turns off on the
Whiskey 5,
engines.
you can cross the 18 center, then it will be a right on Delta, left on Alpha.
Probes off. Windshield heat. Oh, we left the windshield heat on low. Should probably put that to high at some point. But there we go.
Whiskey 5, crossing 18 center, via Delta and Alpha, easy 194.
Very good, Tobias. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Default taxi signs in Microsoft are horrendous, as Matthias can never read them. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Whiskey 7. Which puts us here. Going uphill slightly, it feels like. So let's get some power on. It is a long old way, isn't it? We're probably about halfway through the taxi at this point. It's good fun. We couldn't come to Amsterdam without experiencing the taxi. You often have airplanes around you as well. Those clouds just peeking through from the murk. Yeah, that was an interesting approach. The just the view when you break out can be so different when you've got that sort of rain and reduced visibility. There you go, 28 knots. It feels a lot faster to me, but I'm used to being higher up now. When I flew the dash, of course, it's just as low to the ground as this, if not slightly lower. Right, let's get this right.
KLM 805 holding position.
Where is Quebec?
KLM 805, roger, affirm.
Schipperkant, een hele goede avond. We zaten 6902 op sector en er blokkeert iemand
hier. Don't get turn strobes. Ah yes, landing lights. We've got the landing lights off, but the strobes we turn off across the runway. Thank you very much. We got those straight away.
Taxi gate Delta 48 via Alpha North at Whiskey 5, cross runway 18 center.
Roy says, any tips for landing 320 at night? Yeah, night landings are, it's amazing. You don't actually need the landing lights. You could land an airliner or any airplane at night just using the runway. It's something you practice when you first do night flying as well. But it's essentially the same technique. It's just you just have the runway edge lights to adjust. Because the landing light doesn't really help. It doesn't shine far enough down the runway to give you a useful view. It just gives you something. You can just see some texturing on the ground to give you a bit of peripheral vision. But yeah, landing at night, I don't know what to say really. It's an interesting one. It's essentially the same.
Amsterdam,
it's one of those things that we don't. When you train to become a pilot, you learn to night fly. But when you do it during your initial training, and then you don't really do it again. When you're learning your airliner flying, it's just a part of life. I'm afraid, I can't think of much else to help with that one.
Repeat for Lufthansa 1001, please.
Yeah, the taxi signs are slightly wrong here. Agreed. Thanks for the help.
At Whiskey 5, cross runway 18 center.
Yeah, that was a busy old motorway.
Right,
we're up to parking stands.
At Whiskey 5.
So we're now going to join the outer of Bravo.
Lufthansa 1001.
Then we're going to try and enter for Delta 28, probably through Alpha 8. I think they would normally tell you as you get closer which one they want you to use. No wonder KLM didn't go for Concourse as but yeah, imagine that. Burn a few tens of tons just driving around like this. If you have enjoyed the video and the landing, then do please leave a like if you're on YouTube. It makes a massive, massive difference. Thank you for coming along anyway, though, of course.
Middle ground, easy 194. We cleared to cross 18 centre.
Okay, taking the left here.
At Whiskey 5, cross runway 18
no traffic in the way.
Crossing now.
We've almost made it. Just up there. You can almost see the stand now. For a lot of pilots, taxiing is actually, let's slow down before we can't manage that. Taxiing is good fun. Pilots quite like taxiing airplanes. I've never met anyone who doesn't like it. Airplanes aren't great to handle on the ground, but although the CRJ maybe not so bad given how low it is. But yeah, most people do like it. I don't know why. I can't explain to you why. I suppose it's a bit like just driving a big. Yeah, if I said to you, do you want to go drive a train or a truck?
Jersey 300, hold short at Alpha 7.
Hold short, Alpha 7, Jersey 300. Very European controller thing to do is to say, so we're Jersey 300, which is how they're addressing us, which is totally correct. But in the UK, that would often be converted to Jersey 300. Alpha 7 is here, so it's the taxiway earlier, so we need to go 567.
KLM 29er exit via Alpha 8.
Thanks for the subscription, Roy, and switch for the follow.
Alpha 8.
So are these signs correct? Alpha 3, okay, seems reasonable. Check it's counting up. Keremo would like to try some other airfields in the Netherlands. Eindhoven and Groningen. Okay, yeah. Could certainly try that. Thanks, Crash Heads. Twin Otter, we'll have to do the Twin Otter, clearly. But thanks for coming along, Ed. See you next time. Lauren B says, would be Jersey 300 in the US. Yeah, in the US, I can imagine definitely they'd not be saying 300. It actually is longer than the flight on this one, Hayden. Mr. Banana says, when I was in a simulator a couple of weeks ago, Lufthansa FO, who was with me, complained how he was allowed to fly the 350 but not taxi by company rules. Yeah. We're Alpha 4. Yeah, that would be disappointing. Yeah. Yeah, some airlines. So the Airbus, I think all Airbus aircraft have the ability to...
Papa Zulu, welcome to Amsterdam, taxi gate Bravo 28 via Quebec. At Whiskey 5, cross runway 18 center.
I think all Airbuses have tillers for both pilots, but some airlines will not allow it. CRJ has one here. I don't think it has one over there. No.
Bravo 28,
so smaller aircraft tend to just have one for the captain.
And can you repeat after that, Lufthansa for Papa Zulu?
Lufthansa for Papa Zulu, correct. And at Whiskey 5, cross runway 18 center.
At Whiskey 5,
but that would be, that would be frustrating if you're not allowed to drive on the ground, because that is a great part of the job.
Amsterdam Crown, MS27.
I think a part of it, I don't know what it is.
Emirates 237, welcome to
Amsterdam. Alpha 5.
Gate Golf 4.
Alpha 7's coming up there, so we've got to stop on this sort of section.
Cross runway 18 center.
That traffic's probably departing from the runway there.
Taxi to Golf 4 via...
First choice being, or Air 2000 being well represented, as we'd like to see.
Correct. KLM 805, contact Amsterdam approach on 121.2. Have a nice flight.
So Lauren B says there's the tiller is an option on the 73. Yeah, but I can't imagine many airlines will pay for it. Because you'd have to think, what's the advantage? And there basically is none. It's just nice.
Jersey 300 via Alpha 7, continue gate Delta 28.
Via Alpha 7 to gate Delta 28. Thank you, Jersey 300. Right, first left. Delta 28. Alpha 7. And then it's a bit of a left-right. See if we can get this right. Let's get that APU up and running. Power. And start. Oh. There we go. Left here through Alpha 7. Yeah, the purple wings are good. Yep. That's Richard's handiwork. Spent a lot of time making sure that the textures came together to make sure that actually worked. And then Delta 28 is the last one there on the right. So let us see what is a practical way to get to it. Thanks, Thick Friction, for the follow. Have I got that right? Last one on the right there. Yep, Delta 28. Okay, let's get the taxi lights off.
Cool, ground, easy 194.
Is that AP running?
Easy 194, thanks for flying
APU is running indeed. There's the stands, all clear. Right. There we go, we made it. So thank you all for coming along today. And I hope you've enjoyed it. We will have the outro music, but sadly no replay, which is entirely my fault for completely forgetting in the fun of the flights. Oh, it's a big old machine, this. It is impressive. Can't be much shorter than a 320 if it's not a bit longer. Right. Parking brake is set. APU is running. And there we go, the green light for Avail. Let's shut it down. There's all those warnings. You're welcome, JB. Thanks for coming along. You're welcome, Gremo. Thanks for coming along as well. I think I'm going to stay on VATSIM for this one. I'm going to hop into the drone. Will the door open automatically, I wonder? No. There we go. Put it in the chocks. Open up the cargo. We don't normally do this in Microsoft Flight Simulator because we go for the replay. Oh, I've got to turn off the beacon light, obviously. It's forgetting the most basic things here. Beacon off. Passengers can get out of their seats. APU's up and running. Fuel pumps can go off. Good.
KLM 578 is parked at Delta 4. Bedankt en fijne avond. Bye-bye.
528, that's good news. Bedankt voor het vliegen. Tot de volgende keer.
Oh, well, if that controller does hear, thank you very much, that controller, for being so helpful and for looking after us on the way in. And there we go, parked up. Yeah, 80,000 next door, excellent news. And I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming along. It's been, yeah, I've absolutely loved it. Great to fly out in a different aircraft. It's been a while since we've been in this one, so thanks for joining us for that. Thank you to all the new followers and subscribers for coming along to the stream. More guides and videos coming on the channel very soon. We've got some more challenging approaches, some more hardware to look at. And then, of course, the Airbus guides. So lots of that, plus the streams in the different airliners. So thank you all so much for coming along. If you did ask a question today and I missed it, I can only apologise. But yeah, the chat's moved very fast. But we will endeavour to answer it on the next stream, or if you catch us on one of the longer cruises. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you with the music then and say thank you to the moderators for looking after us, both on Twitch and YouTube. Thanks to the people who've donated very kindly, really appreciate it. Thanks for the likes, and if you are watching on YouTube and you can hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And of course, thanks to everyone commenting and just watching along at home. We will see you again soon in another video or live stream, so do please keep safe and well. Bye bye.
Lufthansa 1001, confirm turn left on to taxiway Bravo.
Lufthansa 1001, negative. Continue straight ahead on Bravo, then Quebec for Bravo 32.
Bravo, then Quebec, Lufthansa 1001.
Triple ground, BG871, off the runway 185,
Easy 871, good evening, taxi gate Hotel 1, at 55, cross runway 187.
Hotel 1, the gate, with runway 187.
Fabio 690, Delta Florida.
Last station taken.
Fabia 6902 on Delta Florida to Vlog, so een fijne avond.
Fabia 6902, thanks for flying in, and fine outlook. Ciao.
Ciao.
Triple ground, we have Swift 60 Charlie 10 Delta 41, ready for push and start.
Stand by short.
KLM 1753, request taxi.
KLM 1753, taxi holding point, Sierra 7, runway 24 by Alpha 4.
Holding point Sierra 7, runway 24 by Alpha 4, KLM 1753.
Swift 60 Charlie, push back on side of roof.
Push back and start through, Swift 60 Charlie.
Papa Zulu, you can hold company on to Quebec.